Orange Lounge Radio. With your hosts, Dark Sakura, Sky, and Loki.
Chills abound as the PT demo brought scares to those with the PS4 and to your favorite streaming sites to those without. And that was only a single reveal in another busy week of news following an overseas gaming convention. We have the full report as well as your calls, tweets, and emails on the show where every gamer has a voice.
Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio live on this August the 17th of 2014 with the 564th episode of our show. My name is Rob Roberts, joining you here at the Voice of Geeks Network, vognetwork.com, where we do tape our show live every Sunday night at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, right after the Bobby Blackwolf show. If you are listening live, join us in chat. live.vognetwork.com. But meanwhile, we have our other hosts here in studio, and it would be pretty boring if we didn't have an eclectic amount of voices here in studio, and we've got quite the panel tonight, you guys, starting off with the one and only, the happiest bunny on the farm, as I used to say years and years ago, Dark Soccer, Jamie Summers.
I'm a little shrieky today.
Yes, you're the scariest bunny on the farm today, or the most scared, I guess.
Surprised. I was surprised.
Shocked? Yes.
Having my flesh eaten was surprising.
So obviously you're talking about the PT demo, which we're going to talk about a little more in depth in just a moment here, but I have to introduce as well Techmaster Loki.
Hi.
Hi, Loki. How are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good deal. What did you bring to eat tonight? I heard you complaining as you walked in that you didn't get what you wanted.
No, I wanted to go to Jim Boy's, but the family didn't leave in time, and they left at, well, because I would have left earlier, so I'd be able to get over there, early enough. Mm-hmm. But they ended up leaving 5 minutes before I have to normally leave, and I had a list of chores I had to do before I left. Like
you're how old and you have chores?
Well, then I had to make a lunch for my son for school, and then I had to bring in the laundry, and then by the way, the car's out of gas. So I ended up stopping at Jack in the Box because it's attached to the gas station. So. But I wanted to get Jim Boy's. That's where I was going to go.
I'm sorry.
I was going to bring you tacos.
Oh, I'm sorry you were robbed of tacos. For what it's worth, I had tacos on Friday because my friend Monet, she loves tacos. So we went over there, had tacos, and then she was performing in the Showgirls Live. Yes, the hideous movie from the 90s that's so bad it's good. They were doing a midnight screening, and she was one of the dancers.
Fuck music.
It was so funny, though. I loved it. It was great. Had a great time at the Trash Film Orgy, as they call it in downtown Sacramento. It sounds dirty, doesn't it? But we had a good time.
Is that like the Spike and Mike thing that they used to do?
No, well, I mean, Spike and Mike's another thing they do there. It's probably a very similar crowd, but Spike and Mike, I think, travels around. Like it's
Spike
not
and Mike, I haven't been there been to that in a long time. But
I don't know if they do it anymore.
I went a few years in a row, and it's like, wow, this is almost the same shit that was here last year.
Yeah, I haven't heard it advertised in a while. I don't know if it's still a thing. Maybe somebody in chat knows. I don't know. But we have more people in studio here to say hello to, and I want to introduce this guy first because he's what you'd call a fan favorite. He isn't on the show all the time, but when he's here, it's always a lovely surprise. Say hello, everybody, to Jamie's husband. Dan is here tonight.
Sup?
Hey, Dan, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah. What's new? Gosh, you haven't been on the show in a while. You haven't been here since we moved to this place. I know that for sure. And
kind of he was.
Did you? Well, yeah, you poked your head in for 2 seconds one episode. But I don't even know. Were you ever at the apartment that we had? Maybe
yes.
One time?
Couple times.
All right.
He was on the floor.
It was lame. It scared me out of being on the show.
I know, right? But here, isn't this much nicer? Sort of.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. How you been?
Good.
Yeah? What games you been playing lately?
A lot of Grid Autosport. I played that Kingdom Hearts high def remake. Mm-hmm. Man, that game is still bad.
Wait. You don't like Kingdom Hearts?
The camera's still bad.
No, I don't like Kingdom Hearts.
You know, that could get you beat up in some circles.
Oh, I'm so worried. I liked Kingdom Hearts 2, what I played of it. That game was a lot more fun. It was basically a lot more streamlined. I was hoping with this remake they had cleaned it up a little bit. And they did. It looks like a really good PS2 game.
And the thing about Kingdom Hearts 2, Tron.
Yeah.
Well, are you gonna be picking up the HD remix in December? I think it is.
Yeah, we already ordered it.
Gotcha. So are you gonna give in to Jamie's demands for a PlayStation 4, or what's happening on that front?
PlayStation 4 is doable.
Yeah.
Wii U is still kind of like,
Yeah. What's up with Wii U? What's your love-hate relationship with Wii U like?
It's a Nintendo system.
Mm-hmm.
There's about 6 games on it that look pretty decent, and it's like $300, which I think is too much for it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people love it. It's got a couple cool things going on. What is the retro remix, the NES remix?
NES remix, yeah.
That pretty much tries to sell me one. Just there's just not much consoling me. I'm not like, oh my god, the new systems look so great. Now that I don't work at game stores, I don't feel compelled to go out there and be like, okay, and here's my $500 for this, and here's my $400 for that, and here's my $400 for this.
Let's be real, Dan. You used to get some of that shit for free.
I never got consoles for free.
Really?
No, it's the motherfuckers who work at those stores now get them for free.
Oh.
I quit, and then like a year later, they're like, here's a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox 360, or Xbox, whatever the fuck it is now, 1, and 10 games for each. Yay! And I was just like, I had to win my Xbox 360, which I did by fucking some guys up in video game trivia. It was unholy.
Awesome. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Some of the we have many regulars in chat who remember Dan, who are saying hello. Lots of greetings there. We have Bobby Blackwolf who says, Dan, coffee.
Coffee. Dan, coffee.
Yeah, Rob, where's my coffee?
Go make it yourself.
Get in the kitchen,
I'm
wench.
short.
What's the most annoying food request that Dark Sakura has?
Coffee.
It's coffee. All right. Now, believe it or not, Dan, I know you've been.
I don't believe it.
I know you've been following this show on and off for the 12 years we've been doing it because, well, you kind of have to.
No.
But we actually have new listeners. We get a few new ones every week. So some people don't know who you are.
Up to 15 steady listeners.
That's right.
Orange Lounge Radio, 1 a year. Love it or not. We started with 3.
On the air for a dozen years with dozens and dozens of fans.
Hundreds and hundreds of people who have listened at one time or the other.
Yeah. So Dan, what would you say? What kind of gamer are you? What are your favorite video games? What do you like to play the most?
At this point in my life, I'm definitely a retro gamer. Mm-hmm. I don't really play a lot of new stuff. When I do play a lot of new stuff, it's mostly racing. Mm-hmm. I've got Grid Autosport. I've got Assetto Corsa. I'll probably get Project Cars.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think about Project Cars?
It looks great. Has a lot of possibility. I won't be getting it on a console because new steering wheels are like $400 a piece. I've already got a $600 steering wheel that should work on PlayStation 4 if I go that way. But since I have a triple screen setup for my PC, fuck the PS4.
Well, looking in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, SSG100 Matt says, Dan will get the system with the best racing games. I was going to allude to Xbox One for Forza Horizon 2.
Well, Horizon sucks.
I love Horizon.
Okay, Horizon's fine if you're into the more sort of like Project Gotham-y, casual racer.
I can't play the real shit.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I don't play the sim games as Sims.
Okay.
When I play Gran Turismo, I kind of dummy it down, but it's the amount of content. It's the, 10 different racing disciplines and 12,000 cars and 600 tracks, and you could race through your neighborhood. Horizon is a cool game. It's just not as good as Forza. I love Forza 5 in theory. It looks great. I just don't own an Xbox One. And if it turned out that, oh yeah, you can use your T500 RS on the Xbox One, they might have suckered me in. But no.
Now, here's the thing, Dan, and I don't know if this would change your mind on the Wii U, but I know for me, this is the thing. I don't know what has to be sacrificed to the devil to make this happen, but F-Zero Wii U, yes or no?
I wouldn't buy a system for it.
Really?
If I was going to buy a system for a Nintendo racing title, I probably would have bought it for Mario Kart. Mm-hmm. And if I had more of a steady local multiplayer community, I might have anyway. It's Mario Kart. I played it. I liked it. It was fun. It has a lot of personality. It's Mario Kart. It's good. You can't go wrong. I'll play it on my GameCube or my Wii or my SNES or my Game Boy Advance or my DS.
By the time the Wii U version of F-Zero ever comes out, you could probably pick up one of those the AX cabinets for a decent cost.
I don't know about that.
No.
They didn't make
all
a lot of those.
6 of them.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Tiger Claw says, Dan has a $600 racing wheel. Has he tried playing those driving sims on the PC with it, like Euro Truck Simulator?
I have.
Have you?
I picked up Euro Truck Simulator on a Humble Bundle. and it's insanely bad. And actually, the Euro Truck Simulator 2, which is a vast improvement, was also on a Humble Bundle recently, and I didn't get it. But I should have, because it was the problem was it was the bonus game. So it's like, donate this much or more. And I'm like, fuck charity.
They have, spinning tires is supposed to be pretty good, too. Like, if you're really into, hill climbing and stuff like that. It's supposed to be really realistic.
Dan, I can't believe you'd say that about charity. I had this bucket of ice water ready to go for you.
Woo.
All right. Dan will be commenting throughout the night, of course, as he tends to do, on whatever is going on in the news. But I also want to say hello to a familiar face here. I'm sure many of you guys have heard this guy pop in week after week. Say hello, everybody, to Shane.
Hello.
Hi, Shane. How are you?
I'm fine.
You don't want me to finish your intro, huh?
Nope.
All right. What's new with you? How you been the past couple
I
weeks?
just got a shiny 30 minutes ago in Pokemon, so I'm pretty pumped up.
Pokemon's still not old for you.
It never will be
Why not?
because it's Pokemon.
Are
It's
you-
are you going to get tired of breathing air?
He hasn't caught them all.
No, I have, actually. I do have them all. I don't
He
have them all
hasn't caught them all shiny.
There you go.
There you-
I do not have them
Don't
all
step to
shiny.
me.
Is that your mission?
No. I only want the ones I like shiny. And then every other shiny I get's just, I guess, a bonus. Unless it's a crappy one, then it's not as good of
Trading
a bonus.
fodder?
No, I'll still keep it because it's shiny.
Are you looking forward to the new old Pokemon games that are coming out?
I wasn't, and then they started releasing more stuff like new Mega Evolutions or whatever, and it got me excited. So, yes, I'm already I'm ready to go with Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
In our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, ActDef says, Shane, if you find a shiny Howlucha, let me know. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did, and I'm actually in that area right now looking for a different shiny. So, I'll let you know, and then I will keep it. So.
You'll just rub it in. You'll be like, I got one.
Well,
and
not to rub
for you.
it in, but if I got two shinies, then yeah, I could trade one.
All right.
I just got a shiny Bunnelby, which is adorable and doesn't look like he's been playing in poop.
And SSU Hunter Man chat says, every other shiny Shane doesn't want becomes a coat. This is how many Oshawotts have you bred trying to get a shiny one?
I am nearing 1,000.
Oh my gosh. So you've made Oshawott coats for all the poor kids in the neighborhood.
Well, the rich kids first, and then the ones that aren't quite as well made go to the poor kids.
All right, fair enough.
I think all the kids in Pokemon are in the same income bracket. They can all afford just to wander the countryside waiting to fight each other.
All right. Now, Shane is here in studio because I know he's dying to, because he's not going to stay for the whole show. He never does. But I know he's dying to talk about our kickoff topic tonight. And the kickoff topic I want to talk about tonight before we get into our gaming weeks is a interactive demo that was released a little bit stealthily on the PlayStation 4 marketplace this week. But as people figured out what it really was, this game gained more and more steam. And I'm talking about a lot of steam. And I don't know about you guys, but I have friends, especially kind of the extended OLR family, people like Shane, maybe not the host directly on this show, but people like Shane, people like Extrover over on a Horde House, people like our number one fan, Flacco Jones, all those folks have been obsessed with PT. Would that be a fair statement, Shane? You're obsessed with PT?
I was texting about PT, but yes.
Who were you texting just now about PT?
Christopher.
So PT, and this is a slight spoiler, but I honestly, if you guys have followed video game news, I don't see how you guys have avoided this news at this point, but I apologize if I'm ruining anything for you. PT is a interactive demo for the new Silent Hill game in disguise. What? I know, right? You didn't just see the trailer 30 minutes ago in the other room.
I read about it online.
Which they're calling Silent Hills, which is being presented by Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro, and Norman Reedus, who a lot of people know from The Walking Dead. He's going to be the face model of the guy who Dan said should be just playing Solid Snake.
When they show him in the game and he kind of turns his head, I was like, he could play a live action Solid Snake fairly convincingly.
What if
it
was Solid Snake that turned his head at the very end?
That would
that would have been what?
Terrible.
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill. The S stands for snake.
You never know. Okay, so Shane, what is it about that? Because seriously, I'm seeing on Twitter people like Extrover and other people. I think Captain Spike from GameBoy.org has been talking favorably about this too, and some other people I follow on Twitter. some are calling it the game of the year, which is a weird thing to see because it's like a free demo. But on the other hand, I also kind of get it. Like
I'm in that camp. That's right now. It's my game of the year. It has surpassed the entirety of Infamous Second Son, and is now right now my game of the year.
So why?
Because I think just the way it's everything about the way they introduced it, the feelings it evoked while I was playing it. Like, I was legitimately scared the first time I was playing it. And even when we were just playing it 30 minutes ago, I was still like kind of on the edge of my seat, even though I knew what was coming, except some things that happened were not things I realized that were going to happen.
There was a surprise.
Yeah, we had some surprises.
Well, and that's the thing. Nobody has figured out the pattern to the game. Because
I personally haven't even beaten it yet.
Yeah.
So,
like, you can't. You have to do a series of events at the end too. I don't want to get too much into the weeds on that for people who haven't experienced it yet, but you have to get a certain.
There are triggers.
Let's say a
It's
trigger.
that fifth dream already spoiled it for everyone in the chat room.
Fifth dream.
Except it's not.
Spank.
Except
It's
you're not
online.
accurate.
Yeah, he's not accurate.
If you really want to
That's
know,
the
it's out
difference.
there.
Well, and so that's the thing. Yeah, nobody's definitively solved it, even though we might have had that post in there.
There are three things on the very last part of the game that have to happen. The first one, everybody knows how to get that to happen. That's easy. We've all figured that out. It's 100% confirmed.
Proven.
The second one, no clue. The second one can lead into the third one. If it does, then we know how to beat it. But you have to get that second thing to happen. And if you can't get it to happen the right way, then you're just stuck.
I still have no idea how I remotely did it.
So yeah, Dark Soccer, you experienced this demo for the first time just earlier this evening,
Yeah.
and you are the first person in this household to beat it. So, which we don't know how
Quite
you,
by accident.
She stood on Shane's shoulders.
Shane did all the first parts of it.
Yeah.
Shane beat the
and then
demo.
he's like-
Jamie was holding the controller.
And then he's like, I don't want to play this part anymore here. I'm like, okay.
So, what did you think?
I think that I'm going to punch eyeless bitch in the face next time.
You know what's
She's
interesting about it?
frightening.
What, Dan?
It doesn't prompt you at all.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't tell you how to do anything. It doesn't say press X to do this. It doesn't
Nope.
say press up or down. It
It
lets
kind of
you,
says press X to do this at one point. I don't know if you caught
yeah.
that.
It lets you dive in and wander around and discover things in a
Finding the-
finite world.
Finding the picture piece scared me the first time.
That
That
scared-
was the first thing that scared
That
me.
scared the piss out of her. She peed a little bit.
I did. Are you in my pants right now? And if so, why?
Well,
Especially since I'm not wearing any.
I'll leave you two to be a
I'm not
little
wearing
later.
pants, Rob.
Yeah, I can
No
see that.
pants.
I'm wearing a skirt.
I know. Okay, so this demo comes out, and after about 6 hours, even less, people have figured out what it is. And Shane texts me, calls me, and is like, "Rob, you have to do a live stream. Rob, you have to do a live stream. Rob, when are you
Yeah.
going to live stream? Rob, what time are you coming home
Because
so you
you're
can live
going to
stream?"
freak out. So everybody wants to see that.
So sure enough, I go on Twitch and I do a live stream, and yes, there were parts of the demo that scared the crap out of me. But then we weren't able to beat it like we could, and I was on a timer
didn't
because we
beat
had a
it.
horde house. Huh?
we didn't beat it.
No.
You
Okay.
said, you said we weren't able. I thought you
Yeah,
said
weren't
we
able
were
to beat it.
There's also seeing her in the bathroom.
Um,
And I actually was going to laugh. I wanted to laugh my ass off when the baby started talking.
Yeah, that's a pretty funny part.
Let's see. Going to live.vognetwork.com, lots of comments on this in our chat room. ActDef says, Guillermo del Toro participating in this project has me sold on it. You know, very interesting how much hype this is getting a lot of hype. I have not seen this much hype for a demo in a long
It
time.
took over all the news at Gamescom. Once this came out, nobody cared anymore about Gamescom, I think.
Well, but hold that thought because we will cover the Gamescom
Well, I'm
news
not going to
later.
be here first. I'll talk about it if I want.
But
I'll be at Taco Bell.
But here's the thing. It's interesting too because you have Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus, which that excites a lot of people.
And something I need to sacrifice to get a Kiriyama Oka back.
Well,
into
and
this.
that's the thing. It's making people kind of forget that who's not involved.
No, it's not. Where do you see that? I see people just praying to everything they can pray to that he's going to show up. And if he doesn't, whoever did the sound for the demo, I have to give a lot of credit to because it sounded like a Silent Hill game that was not downpour.
But I see. It seems like the excitement for this is higher than any game in the Silent Hill series since like 4. So it's like the first game probably where Yamaoka's not involved that people are excited for.
Yeah,
No.
I can agree.
Yeah.
But we're still sacrificing things to get him to show up somehow.
Let's see. Tiger Claw says, I'd be surprised if the game of the year goes to a horror game. When was the last time that happened? The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know if you'd count that horror, though. Some would say that's
And
more
it's
adventure.
not-
The Last of Us, kind of a horror game?
Oh, you probably heard it.
That's all right.
I was going to say, we don't need the full game to get Game of the Year. This demo is going to get Game of the Year. So...
I'm just glad that Konami has something that they're actually releasing other than Metal Gear Solid, because it's seriously, they have that in Pro Evo. I'm like, man, they're going to go out of business if they don't have any good, Metal Gear's going to do well for them, but it was literally the only thing on their slate. It's like, okay, Metal Gear, and
Yeah, what
Pro
the
Evo.
fuck happened to Konami?
they're all...
I know they do a lot of workout equipment and gym stuff and gambling stuff in Japan.
But I mean, if they release, if they release Metal Gear in the first part of the year and this at the end, I mean, that's a pretty good year for Konami. So,
SSJ 100 Matt says it's probably the most brilliant way to promote or announce a game. Fifth Dream says it's not even a game; it's a demo at best, but it's effing scary in a way that impresses me. So, Tiger Claw says maybe demo of the year if there is such a category. Bobby Blackwolf re-emphasizing Konami does a lot of business in the gambling sector. They're doing fine. Let's see.
Wait, how is it not a game? I want to know that. What makes it not a game?
I don't know if I agree with that comment, but everybody gets a voice, so I wanted to say
that's
that.
That's the wrong
voice. Well, maybe we'll get more thoughts on that.
It's a game. It's a very short game.
And I would also say, yeah, it's a short game, but as they point out at the end, it has nothing to do with the main title. So this whole story that's going on is self-contained, and I mean, there's resolution enough. As much as
What
you'd
if
ever
you
get
took
for a
that
Silent
hallway
Hill
and made
game.
it 100 levels long?
That's what it
Would that
felt
be a
like.
game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it still would.
If
Yeah.
it's something different happening every time.
Yeah. And
How many of us have played the Red Room?
I mean,
I have.
Don't Shit Your Pants is a game, and that's just one screen, maybe two.
Well, yeah, but you played what was it? The Crimson Room? Wasn't that what it was?
I think so,
Where
yeah.
it's just a little flash game where you're stuck in a room.
Yeah.
well, it could have been a follow up to Silent Hill 4: The Room. I mean, it's kind of a few rooms in a hallway.
This is Silent Hill: The Hallway.
Silent Hill 5, The Hall.
Just a couple other comments I want to get out here. Kaijudo in chat says, I haven't seen this much hype for a demo since Destiny. Maybe sort of hinting there that maybe it hasn't been that long since we've had a hugely
What about
hyped
Ground
demo.
Zeroes? That was a pretty...
Well, and then I thought this was a nice kind of comment here to end on here. ActDef says, Ground Zeroes should have been what PT was. Very interesting comment. Could they have released PT as a commercial game the way they did Ground Zeroes? Or
If it was that short, no, I would have felt quite ripped off.
People would rage. They would rage.
Yeah.
Maybe if it was like $1.
Yeah, or if like what's the minimum price? $5-10 these days. Maybe add a little more to it, but for free, it's a great value for sure.
Can't you beat Ground Zeroes in just a few minutes? I think they said.
Can you? I don't know. I thought it was a couple
Yeah,
hours.
Well, and then I was going to say, the first day that PT was out and me and Flacco Jones and his wife were playing it, we played it for 5 hours trying to beat it. And that was when we didn't look at any spoilers or anything, so we were going through it. So we spent 5 hours on a game we didn't, or demo, whatever you want to call it, that we didn't beat.
Right.
And I know Ground Zeroes does not take that long. So why should that be 30 and then PT only be $1 when we had more time spent on it?
Interesting.
Well, I think the fact that they sold Ground Zeroes anyways is just kind of lame. The fact that it was $30 was also very lame. So I'm kind of glad they didn't go that route.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if maybe Konami should have just released Ground Zeroes for free, and if that would have gotten as much hype as PT had. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Konami must be
that would have been awesome.
Konami must be screwing around with some different ideas there. But anyway, I do want to move into how was your gaming week, but just quickly some kind of final thoughts on PT. Loki, you haven't really played it yet, huh?
No, I just watched the video.
But what did you think of the whole thing and kind of how it was done there?
I don't know. It's pretty much all I saw in the video. It was just the end. So it looks neat.
I got to say, for me personally, I'm really excited for the next Silent Hill game. And I kind of, I've loved the Silent Hill series, but I've always just kind of been, oh yeah, that game. Oh yeah, and I kind of been detached from it for the past few games. So this is a really good way to attention, get back over here. You're a fan of Silent Hill.
I am curious to see what the trailers are going to be like because, Kojima, he likes doing his like vignettes for the fucking trailers.
Yeah, I'm hoping this will be a big E3 presence next year, but who knows? Who knows? Dan, quick final thoughts on that?
It was awesome. I'd only read about it, so today was the first time I saw it. Really, really, I mean, I could see that being a whole game. Mm-hmm. Where you walk around an area, you have to do different things. I mean, there were a lot of things you could look at that demo. There were a lot of touches that you're not going to catch your first, your second, your 10th time through. And like I was saying, if that hallway had 100 repetitions, but you managed to work enough different content into it, I think it'd be awesome. I don't have as much confidence that the next Silent Hill game will be like that, because that would be a radical departure. But I think that the PT was pretty good. What
was interesting is that even though, yes, it would be a radical departure, a lot of people have been noticing that that demo in particular has more in common with Silent Hill The Room than anything else, which is weird because The Room was sort of that disconnected Silent Hill game, but I still really like it.
Disconnected game that got
the Silent Hill slapped into it. Yeah, it was.
I'm just worried they're trying to pull like a BioShock Infinite with this, where it's just like, oh, it's infinite universes. Now we're going to tie them all together. It's like, okay, I don't
know. Jamie, last thoughts on the teaser?
It made me shriek. So not like loudly, not like,
bullshit.
Yeah, it was enough where I could hear it over here.
I didn't say that was loud. It was just high pitched.
I know. Even though bringing him back is going to be very like kind of cliche and doesn't really fit in the story, I do fully anticipate and hope that they bring back a full HD Pyramid Head for
some people. Like Shane's over there going, no. Some people really don't want that. Some people really don't want that.
It'd just be out of character with what they just showed, like a realistic. They've already said that they want this game to be truly horrifying. Even to the point where the product is not commercially viable, this would be a really cool sort of thing. Now, if they do what I think they're going to do, it'll have Pyramid Head and zombie nurses,
I think it's gonna have all the stuff from like all the other games kind of thrown in there. Maybe like it's gonna cross universes, and so you can get stuff from Silent Hill 2. And
with Kojima at the helm now, I'm not so sure. He might want to he might be eager to put his own.
The nurses will just have larger breasts this time.
All right, and last but not least, Shane, the big fanboy in the room for this. What are your thoughts closing out here?
I think it's amazing, and right now I'm saying Dragon Age Inquisition is either going to tie it or probably not beat it for my game of the year. That silly demo is my game of the year.
All right, well, but of course you never know what else might stealthily release between now and the end of the year.
No, it's going to be Dragon Age or this.
All right. Well, we'll check in with you at the end of the year. All right.
Okay, whatever.
All right. Anyhow, we're going to move on and talk about our gaming weeks and the types of video games that we've been playing this week. Dark Sakura, ladies first. What have you been playing this week besides PT? We've all been playing that. Other
Bejeweled.
stuff.
A lot of Bejeweled on my phone. I've been playing some Bust a Move, a.k.a. Puzzle Bobble. I played some Final Fantasy 14. Dan, why are you looking like that? I was strategy guiding Dan through Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Remix. And really, that's about it. I've had a lot going on, so stuff.
That still seems like a pretty action-packed week. I saw you on Twitter posting pictures of Kingdom Hearts playthroughs. I don't know if you saw, but I responded.
Not yet. I'm trying to make Twitter more of a thing and Facebook less of a thing because, fuck. So.
I hear you. Let's go to our guests. Dan, how was your gaming week? What types of video games you've been playing this week?
What did I do? I played some Grid today. Had a lot of fun. Basically, Friday night, I don't even know what happened. I got home, or was it Saturday? When did you go to that?
It was Friday
thing?
when we went to go see Showgirls.
Okay. She was going to be out, and I was like, man, I want to do some retro gaming. So I drug out the Genesis, and I played a game each of The Revenge of Shinobi, Shadow Dancer, and Shinobi 3. And I know that my skills are quite diminished because I got to the second to last level, the second to last level, and the last level. One game, just not even like no continues, no spamming extra lives. Well, I did spam extra lives a little bit in Revenge of Shinobi, but Played some Zelda on Saturday. We played pretty much the first 6 labyrinths in just a quick run through because we were showing it to my friends' kids. And today I played some Grid. Besides that, not a lot of gaming.
All right. Loki, how was your gaming week?
I really only played a couple games, and it was actually funny, but not both of them were kind of Kickstarter related, I guess. I played more Vanguard V, and I still like that demo. Sadly, that there is no way that Kickstarter is going to make its money. And then I played kind of along the lines with Vanguard V. The guy Maximilian Moreau, who's actually he does the Cooking with Unity show. They've been running this kind of series for I think the last week or two called From Scratch to Published, and they actually start from scratch and they made a game that's pretty simple and they published it on pretty much every platform that they could. iOS, Windows Phone, Android, and even PlayStation Mobile. And so I downloaded the Android version for 99 cents, and so I've been playing their game, Grid Cruiser, which actually it's kind of inspiring because when I do get done with my long project, I do kind of want to do something along the lines of that, where it's a lot of short projects that you can get done in like a week or two, just to have some stuff to bring in some revenue. So, but yeah, it definitely go support Vanguard V. I mean, although it's probably too late at this point, but hopefully they will decide to relaunch the Kickstarter or have some other way to do funding later on.
All right. Before we get into my gaming week, I'm actually going to do something here real quick. We're having a lot of problems live for our live listeners over at live.vognetwork.com. Our internet keeps going up and down. I'm not sure what's up with that, but I think what we're going to do, I'm going to do an intentional drop here, and we're going to cycle our internet in an attempt to try to keep it up here for the remainder of the show. So I apologize, guys. Thanks for sticking with us live, for sure. These things happen, unfortunately. I don't know what's causing our internet to suck tonight. It's been pretty good the past couple of months, but I am going to do an intentional drop here, but we will be back in just a couple minutes. I appreciate those of you guys that are sticking with us here at vognetwork.com. We'll be right back. Okay, let's try this again. Hopefully the internet cooperates with us. Of course, those listening on the podcast are like, what's going on? Everything's fine to me. But yeah, we're having some difficulty sending our signal out to the server that rebroadcasts everything live. So we just did a little power cycle here in studio on the router and all that good stuff to hopefully give us some decent uptime tonight. But, despite all the live problems that sometimes occur, although it's been pretty good the past couple weeks or months even, we do always have the show complete, and we do try to tape things for our podcast feed, which, of course, you can check out at orangeloungeradio.com, available in the iTunes Store, Stitcher Radio, all that good stuff. All right, when we left off, I was about ready to get into my gaming week, which I don't have a whole lot of exciting stuff to report because we talked about PT, which was the big bulk of it, but I have also been playing Final Fantasy 14 here and there, which, I love my MMOs, so I've been playing that. Another MMO I've been playing an awful lot of, which I think I talked about last week, but Neverwinter was one I've been spending time with. Actually, I think I got into it on Horde House, but not OLR. So I've been playing a free-to-play MMO called Neverwinter that's available out there, and I like what I've been experiencing so far. Even though it is free to play, I haven't really felt nickeled and dimed. Now, granted, I'm only about 10 levels into it, so I haven't really experienced the whole thing. But I like it because it's kind of like that, like a Warcraft MMO type of feel. But it's a little more actiony, like because you dodge things by double tapping, and so you move around a little faster, so everything feels a little more fast paced, almost like the combat feels almost more like Diablo-esque in a way, but yet in that kind of WoW environment. So I like that. And of course, since it's Neverwinter, you have a lot of user generated things to explore, and I've barely scratched the surface on any of that stuff. But if you like D&D and you like free MMOs, you'll probably get a kick out of Neverwinter. So and Dungeon Buster in chat says just wait until you get to the late levels. Yeah, I figured in a free-to-play MMO type of thing, that's probably where you really start to feel it, is towards the end game. But for what it is right now, I'm enjoying it as a nice little diversion because, honestly, I like MMOs. I'm not really feeling WoW these days. Sorry, Warcraft fans, but the drought that has been going on in the game just finally broke me, and I'm just not interested in WoW or the expansion.
You mean the entire game?
I'm not interested in the new expansion. There was a lot of news about the new expansion in WoW this week, and I got to admit, I'm not buying it. Like, I know that sounds harsh. I have a lot of friends that really love World of Warcraft and have stood by it, but I don't know. Maybe the people will ultimately bring me back. If I do come back to an MMO, it's usually the people is why, but the game itself, I don't know. I'm just kind of spent on it. But it gives me time to play other MMOs and see what else is out there. So that part of it I like. Otherwise, I'm just waiting till the big holiday rush and a lot of the games that come out there. Speaking of Diablo, I got Diablo 3 on pre-order for Tuesday, the Ultimate Evil Edition. So I'm excited for that on PlayStation 4. So I will be excited to check that out. All right, so that's it for our gaming weeks. Moving into some housekeeping before we get into some gaming news. Housekeeping, we will not have a live show Labor Day weekend. That's 2 weeks away. That is because I will not be here. I will be in Atlanta at Dragon Con, which is a huge, huge con for southeastern U.S. and beyond, honestly. I mean, I'm going out there for it. Voice of Geeks Network is pretty heavily involved. We're going to be participating. We have a panel Monday as a part of the podcasting track, 11:30 in the morning. So be sure if you are at Dragon Con. I know I said AM, and some of you guys might be a little hungover, but that is the day you're leaving. So hopefully you're able to make it to our panel 11:30 in the morning that day. We'll also be appearing on other panels throughout the show. I know Bobby and I are participating on another one. Our pal Brian over at British Invaders has a few things he's on. I want to say John from Critical Myth might be on a panel or two on some of the different tracks. But just keep an eye out for that all throughout Dragon Con. We will be there. But I know it's a big convention weekend in general, and just in general a weekend, especially in the U.S., where people kind of go out of town, do other things. So we will not be having a show that week. But we will be here next week, and then, of course, we'll be back on September 7th, I believe the day is. You can also follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/OLR for all the updates, facebook.com/orangeloungeradio if you want to be our friend on Facebook. Let's get into some gaming news. There was quite a bit of it when there's speaking of big expos, Europe had a huge one gaming related this week, right?
Yes, at Gamescom. And
Germany specifically.
Ironically, it's kind of funny. Like, I watched all those conferences live, and even the one, was it all of them except for EA, because EA was at 1 in the morning, and it's EA, and it's at 1 in the morning, so no, I'm not watching that. But I actually watched the Microsoft one and Sony one. Microsoft was at 5 in the morning. Thank you, kid, for waking up that early. So, anyways, let's talk a little bit about Sony. So, Sony, they had a lot of rumors kind of going into it, one of which was, of course, HD remasters for Journey and the Unfinished Swan, which were confirmed. And the cool thing about those, of course, like a lot of the other games that they have, they are cross-buy. So, if you bought the PlayStation 3 version, you don't have to buy the PlayStation 4 version. It will already be there waiting waiting for you to play it. Also, Hustle Kings is coming to PlayStation 4 as well. I am absolutely shocked that series is still around. Do people really like billiards that much? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's literally the only game that's in that genre that's out on consoles nowadays. All right, and then they also announced that, of course, they're doing pretty well with the system. 10 million units sold, and they made sure to confirm that, yes, that's sold actually to customers and not just shipped, because, poking fun at Microsoft and about, some of their numbers that they share. And apparently the best-selling console in North America for the past 6 months, they said, and I think it's even outselling the PlayStation 3 during that same time period. They hit 10 million before the PlayStation 3. And then kind of following, some of their announcements, they showed off a bunch of, I guess, unusual trailers for things, like including Q Games' new The Tomorrow Children, which kind of had this, Soviet Russia kind of vibe to it, and very strange looking game, but that should be coming out to the platform at some point. They announced that DayZ is coming to PlayStation 4, so I'm guessing probably going to be coming to both consoles at some point. I don't know if it's going to be exclusive or anything, but at least they announced that. Also, and some kind of pissing off some of the fans of Vita, Tearaway Unfolded is going to be coming to the PlayStation 4 as well. So now they're getting kind of their own version of the Vita game. I also think what pissed off fans of the Vita was an absolute lack of any news for the Vita.
Yeah,
nothing.
Which I'm going to be honest, it seems to me that Sony is destined to make the Vita a portable PlayStation television is what the Vita is destined to be through the PlayStation Now and through the streaming with the PS4. And I kind of think they're really not super duper interested in having the Vita be maybe a games platform. They'll still support the indie development for it because it's kind of like a feather in their hat. But I think Sony's kind of done with the Vita already.
If anything, they're supporting the Vita with more independent stuff because it is one of the few platforms that actually still supports PlayStation Mobile, which you can publish to. You don't even need like a dev kit or anything. You can just publish straight to it. So there's that, and also a lot of these games that are coming out on console are getting Vita versions as well. So I think you'll see a lot in that sense. But yeah, as far as releasing major titles on the Vita, I just don't think that's going to happen right away. Maybe if the PlayStation TV really takes off and the numbers justify more portable versions of these games. The problem is, just like the Wii U, there's just not a lot of units out there, and so they don't want to spend the effort and cost to develop a game for the Vita. Even Sony doesn't, because some of their big name franchises that they thought would do really well didn't. But I think that's kind of the blame on some of the devs because they had really shitty ports of like Resistance and stuff.
A couple quick comments from chat, and I'll let you get back to the news wrap-up. Sorry, Loki. Akuma JP says, we had a lot of games in summer, though, on Vita. Remember, Akuma JP's in Japan, where it's probably a very different perception over there. I mean, Japan even had that other Vita before we did, and, it's a little different over there.
There's still third parties are supporting it. I mean, especially the Japanese companies are really supporting the Vita, like Atlas and... even was it like over here Access Games, they kind of do a lot of translations of titles and stuff, but you're seeing Tecmo Koei, they've got lots of stuff coming to the Vita. So if you like your Japanese games, you're getting a lot of that stuff localized, which is kind of cool. But really that's it. I mean, you're not going to see a lot of just Vita versions of big titles coming on, no Call of Duties or anything like that, which is kind of disappointing.
Act Deft in chat says, make the Vita $150 and make the memory cards cheaper, and I may consider one. Well, the Vita's going to be what, $99 if you can hook it up to a TV. That seems to be where Sony's
I think they
going.
will drop the price of it, especially if because think about it, if it's $200 and PlayStation TV is going to be $99, I think they're going to have to drop the price of that. It's going to come down one way or another. Either it's retailers trying to clear out their stock or it's Sony dropping the price of it. But I think the price does need to come down on it.
All right.
I was going to say, last but not least, they announced SharePlay. The feature they were kind of showing off originally with the PlayStation 4 is now going to be coming in the fall update. Now, SharePlay was that feature that they showed off where... say I'm having trouble in a game or something like that, I can have my friend take over the game and actually play a part for me, or, you can also do couch co-op, over the internet. So if I have, a two-player local game, I can have someone join in on player 2 or something like that. But what people are also seeing is like, hey, I can use this to loan a game to my friend, across the country or something like that. They'll just take over my game and they can play it up to an hour. So it's going to allow you to play up to 60 minutes at a time. And, after that 60 minutes, it'll disconnect, but you can reconnect as many times as you want. And so that'll be coming in software update 2.0, which is coming in later this fall. And of course, because it is multiplayer, PlayStation Plus will be required, like everything else multiplayer.
All right. Well, Microsoft also had their big press conference, and there was a lot of news coming out of that, including increased presence for indie games on the ID at Xbox platform, which will include Goat Simulator, No Time to Explain, and one of the big ones coming over from PC is Smite, because Smite is a big MOBA. Not quite as big as League of Legends or Dota or even Heroes, but Smite definitely has its audience. I see it on Twitch all the time, so very interesting that is making.
I'm actually very shocked that Goat Simulator was allowed on consoles because that game is buggy as hell on purpose. But it's just,
I think that's the joke.
I'm just surprised.
Yeah, that's the joke. Anyhow, also. Dan, you haven't seen Goat Simulator?
Oh, well, I'll have to show you during break then.
Oh, good.
It's a good time.
I have this game, right?
Apparently not.
Imagine, if you will, a game like Tony Hawk where you do tricks, except instead of Tony Hawk on a skateboard, you're a goat pissing people off and breaking shit.
Fucking Microsoft.
And going into space.
Space.
Space goat.
I'm in space.
Space.
Let's see. Also, the Xbox One preview program expanding their features for more friends, the ability to view messages, friends, parties, and achievements on a snapped app, and playing media from a USB device. There will be an FIFA 15 bundle in Europe. Turtle Rock Studios is going to be bringing the beta for Evolve to the Xbox One in January. Evolve, by the way, pushed back if you hadn't heard the memo on that. But the demo or the beta, will be on the Xbox One in January. Let's see. Fable Legends multiplayer beta will be in October. There will also be Sunset Overdrive package detail, which will be a retail October 28th. I'm not sure if that is specifically for Europe.
No, they're going to have a system with it's a white console.
Same date.
Yeah, the 28th. It's same white console for $399.
The beta program for Halo 5 starts December 29th, so just barely in this year. Let's see. Also, there will be a Halo channel. Microsoft and 343 Industries teaming up for the Halo channel. This will broadcast live Twitch gameplay. There will also be content based around the Halo series available on this. This is kind of interesting, like a whole little... It's
you know why I say yeah?
Why?
It's because they tried the same shit with Call of Duty Elite. Remember, Elite had all this content that was based around Call of Duty, and it was fucking boring.
No, I don't remember that, actually.
Yeah, and then they just continued Elite because no one gave a shit about it. So, I don't know. Halo tournaments would be kind of cool, but I just... Aside from like that show from are they still doing the Steven Spielberg Halo thing? Because aside from that, I just don't give a shit about the rest.
I think that is still a thing. They said anything that had already started was still going to be a thing. I think. All right.
Did you guys talk about Bungie firing Martin O'Donnell?
Oh, a while ago when it happened. Yeah.
Has 343 hired him yet?
I haven't heard. Don't
it's
think
like
so.
Seriously, what the fuck are you guys waiting for? That's the guy who makes Halo.
Right.
Hurry up.
Right. Last but not least, the big bomb that was dropped. Crystal Dynamics announcing Rise of the Tomb Raider will be exclusive to the Xbox One. In the days that followed that, exclusive was clarified to mean timed exclusive, but I think we all kind of expected that a huge game like Tomb Raider, even if it is exclusive on Xbox One or whatever, the Game of the Year Definitive Edition, blah, 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 would have been on all consoles anyway, especially with a big game like that. But a lot of people really unhappy about that news, considering that probably a lot of people bought Tomb Raider on the PlayStation 4 for the definitive edition just because, the number of PlayStations that were in households at the time and so forth. You had more PS4s in households, so I think the game sold better there. So, and then some people saying, if you go all the way back to the OG Tomb Raider games, that was always more of a PlayStation thing. So this feels like and I'm using my quotey fingers, slap in the face to those of us that have supported Tomb Raider all these years.
The DLC for like Grand Theft Auto 4 was exclusive to Xbox for about 6 months. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And they paid $50 million for that. So,
in my opinion, it's business, and you might not like it, but I sort of think if things had been the other way around, where Tomb Raider had been announced exclusive for PlayStation 4, people would have been like, oh, cool, and you might have had your occasional Xbox fan.
Suck it, Microsoft.
Yeah, exactly.
We got Tomb Raider.
So I kind of and I'm talking to somebody who doesn't own an Xbox One yet. I own a PlayStation 4 and not an Xbox One, but I'm looking at this going, well, that's kind of irritating, but at the same time, it's probably a pretty good business decision on Microsoft. It's weird from Square's end because, we all know that...
Because Square doesn't do exclusive deals. Except for Square does exclusive deals all the time.
No, it's not that, Dan. It's that they went out on record and said, we were a little disappointed in the sales of Tomb Raider, even though they kind of backtracked on that later, and Crystal Dynamics, I believe, came out and said, no, we're in the black. The game's in the black now, because they did sales in the definitive edition and so forth. They made their money on that game and so forth.
It's because Square's delusional.
Yeah.
Look, I'm offended because Tomb Raider was originally a Saturn game, and then the PlayStation stole it. So you know what, Sony fans? Suck it. Well, now you're getting your own medicine.
Well, what about, and some folks are saying, Fifth Dream says Tomb Raider is a PC title. Isn't it a PC title before it's any of those things, Dan?
I'm pretty sure that when Tomb Raider was being developed, it was a It was a console game.
Yeah,
I
interesting.
don't think it started for the PC.
That's
I
the
think
thing
what
that-
happened was there was a PC version, and then they made other PC versions. But it was like the lead console for Tomb Raider was the Saturn.
And here's the thing, though, is it's not just Xbox One. It's Xbox One and Xbox 360.
Rise of the Tomb Raiders on 360?
Yes, it's coming to Xbox first.
I didn't catch that. I thought the game only had the newer
No,
stuff
I
in
think
it.
it's on both.
Interesting.
I think
Which
it's
tells you just how great the new generation consoles really are.
last in last gen and current gen.
Are you absolutely sure on that, Loki?
I'm pretty sure.
Put it in your mouth.
Shane is screaming from the other room. Yes. So interesting. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm seeing it. I'm looking at Wikipedia, so it must be true. 360 and Xbox One. Interesting.
Matt, meanwhile, frantically editing Wikipedia.
And
Right?
done. Yeah.
It's on Wikipedia, so it must be true.
There it is. All right. So I'm trying to look at the silver lining of this. I figured by 2015 holiday I'd have an Xbox One anyway. So maybe there'll be like a really cool bundle that comes out for Rise of the Tomb Raider because Microsoft seems invested in wanting their own Uncharted.
Was the last Tomb Raider so big, despite being a disappointment, that Tomb Raider now has some sort of like relevance in the console war?
Well, here's yes, because even though when that news came out that Tomb Raider wasn't selling well, Dan, it took a lot of us by surprise because the new Tomb Raider is really good.
Great game.
Yeah.
Game, and I figured it sold pretty well. I didn't figure it sold system selling well. I didn't figure it would be like if Microsoft rolled up and said, and this might date me because I haven't really been following new games too much, but if they just ran up and said, hey, by the way, Call of Duty Xbox exclusive bitches, drops mic. It's like, oh, we got Tomb Raider. Good. It's cool. It's not going to change your fortunes. It's not going to sell Xbox Ones.
If you consider that Uncharted might be Sony's big game holiday 2015, it does create a very...
And it'll stomp the new Tomb Raider.
He does have a point. That's the thing. It's like, oh well, damn, I can't play.
That's a big if.
Hold on. Okay. I can't play Tomb Raider right now. I'll just play Uncharted until Tomb Raider comes out. I mean, there's that scenario. I mean, especially now that it's confirmed that it's time exclusive. So people will just be like, fuck it, I'll just wait, or I'll wait and see what the reviews are. And if the reviews aren't that great, I'm just not going to buy it at all when it comes out. So it is a double-edged sword that they get it exclusive, but if it doesn't turn out to be a great game, then it could hurt them in the end because now people are just not going to wait. They'll wait for it to drop price.
We paid 100 millos for an exclusive for a game that doesn't matter that much. We needed something. We got it. Microsoft.
We have Bullet Witch. Woo!
I remain hopeful because the first Tomb Raider was so darn good.
No, it'll be a great game.
Yeah.
I'm just...
The first Tomb Raider. You guys know what I mean. The first since the reboot. All right. Anyhow, let's move on. We're running really long because of all these stream problems we've been having tonight. This has put us back a little bit. So let's move on. Dark Sakura.
Then I'll be quick. Warner Brothers is apparently interested in buying Xbox Entertainment Studios. There was something put out by a Hollywood Reporter saying that Microsoft was actually considering selling Xbox Entertainment Studios to Warner Brothers because of I just lost my place because they wanted to after the negotiations with the merger of Xbox Entertainment and Machinima, that they thought that it would be a good idea. What?
You know what this means?
What?
This news only can mean one thing: the return of the WB.
WB.
Well, Xbox Entertainment was closed.
Yeah.
But they still, of course, own what was left of its assets in the division. So
Right.
Well, and didn't the documentary that they did, the E.T. one, didn't they have to go to Warner to do a whole bunch of the rights and stuff for like E.T. music and whatnot? Maybe that was the point of
E.T.
contact.
though is
Maybe.
Or is
Universal.
that Universal? Okay, yeah, then fuck it. That's all wrong.
God damn it, Dan.
God damn it, Dan.
I'm like, wasn't
Coffee.
E.T. was a ride at Universal Studios.
Oh, yeah, but they license shit. I mean,
Yes, it's
you know.
true. It's true. All
And
right.
they did The Simpsons right now. That's definitely not Universal.
Fox.
Or I'm sorry, no, it's not. It's not even The Simpsons anymore. Fuck, I can't keep track. It's like Simpsons, and then it was Terminator, and then like
No, it's Simpsons now.
no, it's
It was Back to the Future.
It's no, it's the Minions ride now.
No, they didn't
No.
replace.
Terminator turned into Minions.
Yeah.
Simpsons
What?
was Back to the Future. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
Simpsons
disappointing.
Is,
It was so cheesy. They had to keep it. I mean,
Right.
Simpsons is
Anyhow.
current.
Aw.
Anyhow, does this affect the closure of Xbox Entertainment affect the whole like possibility of 1 versus 100 returning or any of that?
Oh man, that was awesome.
Well,
Right?
if you mean no, because 0% chance of
Times
returning
zero.
times 0 is still
the
0.
funny thing was the
hoping
Xbox
maybe Warner
Entertainment
would
was
do it.
about like making TV shows and shit. It was about, we're going to have all this original content and we're going to have like a Netflix thing going on. It wasn't about making games. That was what like the Xbox community, man, and 1 versus 100 was like, that was some cool content. That sold Xboxes. I shit you not. We were selling Xboxes because people were like, how do we get this 1 versus 100 thing? Oh, hey, buy an Xbox, buy this card. You don't even need a game disc. It's all good.
Wow.
Broadband.
Wow.
Old news.
I hope that will come back in one way or another. Maybe Warner Brothers can do that. Well, Warner Brothers, you joke about the WB, but didn't it become the CW? I don't know who has the controlling stake in CW. I don't know if that's mostly CBS.
Who cares?
Yes, that's true. Maybe because I want America's Next Top Model on Xbox One with Kinect. Make my best smize on Kinect.
We're gonna get Supernatural
Rob,
games.
you can just do that for fun.
I can. I'm doing it right now.
The best you can hope for is an adaptation of a possible Model N movie into a game.
I just want my Xbox to root for me when I die in the exclusive Rise of the Tomb Raider. I want Tyra to come out and go, "We were rooting for you. We were all rooting for you." Anyhow,
Yeah.
Loki, news
No.
story. Please save this.
All right. So speaking of comebacks, Sierra is back, resurrected in shambles, I guess, by Activision. And Sierra's new direction is, well, they're going to be releasing some of their old titles, including King's Quest, a brand new King's Quest game, and Geometry Wars 3 Dimensions, which is like Geometry Wars, but now it's not quite flat. It's in dimensions.
Bizarre Creations is back.
Now, when they start doing time dimensions, then we have Tesseract Edition.
So correct me if I'm wrong. This is
You're wrong.
only active. Fuck you. Oh, excuse me.
Not
this
here.
This is only Activision using the name, right? There's no Roberta Williams.
Oh God,
There's
no.
no original talent
No.
from
She washed her
Sierra.
hands of
Lord,
gaming a long
Lord
time
British isn't running back to Activision because
Lord
he needs
British-
to make more money
Lord
after
British-
launching into space.
Lord British tried to shoot himself into space.
Right, no, he did shoot himself into space.
Yeah.
But he's not running back. This is just them saying,
No.
we're going to release adventure games and we're going to release it under the Origin label.
Lord British, he's making Facebook games now.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. Those guys aren't coming back. Sierra's
No.
not coming
No,
back.
yeah, and-
The name Sierra is being used for the King's Quest remake.
Bizarre,
King's
sadly.
Quest sequel / remake / resurrection.
Bizarre, sadly, not coming back either.
Yeah.
So even though I'm really
Yeah, no shit, man.
even though I'm really excited.
Fuck you, Activision. Fuck you for that. And fuck you, Microsoft, for even selling them.
And even though I'm like really excited about a new Geometry Wars, I'm like super like shifty eyes, like don't fuck this up. Do not fuck this up.
Okay, so King's Quest, they're saying it's being developed by the Odd Gentleman, who did The Misadventures of PB Winterbottom, and I guess The Wayward Manor. And then Lucid Games are going to be taking over Geometry Wars. I have no idea who Lucid Games are, but it's Geometry Wars. I can't imagine it'd be that difficult.
Famous
No,
last
that's
words.
not true. Geometry Wars is a simple game that's perfectly balanced. It was designed not just like, oh, here you go, play this. Like, they put some time into it. Remember the first year of the Xbox? It was the killer app.
It was.
You were like, well, Project Gotham 3 is pretty good. Fuck Perfect Dark Zero. Dude, have you played Geometry Wars? Oh, and Uno on Xbox Live. There you go.
yeah, no, for real, like no lies detected.
1
honestly.
versus 100.
And it's like it's so weird. Yet bizarre, shut down, vision camera, not supported. Like what? Anyway,
Well, it was, what happened was, and I mean, I know that because I'm a racing aficionado. Bizarre's big thing was Gotham, Project Gotham.
no, I know.
It took 3 titles, but eventually Forza eclipsed Project Gotham. Microsoft didn't see any reason to keep bankrolling them. And so they sold them off to Activision, and then Activision had one release? It was like Split.
Blur.
Was it Split or Blur?
No. They had
And then
two
said
releases because remember
TTFN.
Activision had them develop that crappy game, The Club.
Oh yeah. Fuck.
They did a 007 game too, I
Fuck
believe.
you.
Anyway,
Why did you remind me about? I hate you so much,
see,
Matt.
here's the thing: Geometry Wars 2 was still really good too.
Retro evolved.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway,
Well, that was Geometry Wars 2 was Geometry Wars.
sorry.
And remember, we did have
the
the-
one that got the name Geometry Wars 2 on Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Was really good too.
And we had the guys that ported it over the Wii, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and the Wii, well, that was still bizarre, and the Wii one was pretty good too.
Was it on 3DS or DS?
I think so.
it was on DS, yeah.
Man, that game is awesome.
It's a
Anyhow.
great game. It's just okay. I'm just worried because Activision.
Sucks.
I don't know if they I wouldn't say they suck, but it's just like there's.
At least
It's-
EA has reclaimed their title crown of the most evilest.
Oh yes. But I'm worried that Activision and like even EA has been trying to spin this where, or maybe not EA, but there was was it that guy that did. Or the group that did Devil May Cry, that game.
Which sucks.
Well, now they're trying to release these games as indie titles. So, like Geometry Wars 3 Dimensions is an indie title, or King's Quest is going to be more of an indie title, and they're trying to spin it that way to get people, kind of more on their side for that stuff. Like they have another game coming out, I can't remember, but it looks exactly like Devil May Cry, but it's an indie title by a AAA studio or something like that. It's like that doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's by what they call it indie. It's by a small market developer. An indie developer. Indie developer. Not indie studio. Yeah, because Activision is the world's biggest or second biggest studio.
Well, as much fun as we're having
Bunch of
reminiscing
evil bastards.
about the past, let's do some more reminiscing about the past with this story because, believe it or not, this week is the 25-year anniversary of the Sega Genesis. Not the
You're damn right.
Not the Mega Drive necessarily, but the Sega Genesis coming to stores in North America. Remember Sonic and Tails and Phantasy Star and Echo the Dolphin and Shadowrun and Toe Jam and Earl.
Well, you don't
the
remember
days?
those from launch because you remember Altered Beast.
Which I went back and played not that long ago because it was on the Sonic Mega Collection thing. So I went back to get my trophies. I played Altered Beast on Genesis, and I was
Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection.
That's it. Thank you. I was like, Altered Beast on Genesis? This game sucks.
That game was terribad.
But
But the whole thing was you came from Mario 3,
Yeah.
which is a masterpiece of gameplay design and whatnot, and you looked at the graphics, and then you looked at Altered Beast, and you heard the graphics and the voice, and you were like, God damn, this is amazing. And there were a lot of great games during the launch of the Genesis. There was Thunder Force 2, there was Herzog Zwei, there was Truxton, there was, what else was good at launch? That's about it. I had Super Thunderblade and Altered Beast. I got screwed.
And Altered Beast.
Ghouls and Ghosts. Ghouls and Ghosts was the lead launch title. It was the reason to own a Sega Genesis.
Altered Beast, everybody remembers from the arcade, and not that it was necessarily a much better game in the arcade, but
No.
everybody remembers those sequences with the voice, rah, when they transform into Wise from your grave.
The Genesis was a capable The funny thing about the Genesis translations were they were always close. They weren't exact. Golden Axe wasn't exact. What was the other one? Ghouls and Ghosts wasn't exact. Altered Beast wasn't exact. But because they were the closest you could get at home at the moment, they were amazing.
I didn't realize Elmer Fudd did voice acting in that game.
He did.
Oh, yes.
Dungeon Buster in chat at live.vognetwork.com says, everybody poo-poos Altered Beast nowadays, but it was like, holy crap, it's almost like the arcade at the
Yeah,
time.
it was. That's what I was saying, is it was mind-blowingly close. And when you got your Genesis, that was, especially if you bought it in the first year before Sonic released and became the pack-in, that was the game you slammed in and you turned on and you were like, why didn't I buy a second controller so my buddy could play with me? And you play through the game in 20 minutes, and then you play through the game again in 20 minutes, and then you put it away, and hopefully you had bought another game.
Dan, I know you have many fond memories of the Genesis because I think you're kind of the Sega fanboy.
Yeah, Sega's my thing.
Which is kind of probably why you're here tonight of all weeks.
No, it's just an amazing coincidence.
Amazing coincidence. What are your personal favorite memories? Because I didn't own a Genesis, and my friends did, but I didn't own one.
You didn't own a Genesis?
I was a Super Nintendo kid.
Fuck you, I'm leaving.
Well, what are your favorite memories of the Sega Genesis looking back?
The great thing about when the Genesis actually launched was that it took the how do you say? It kind of took the vibe that Nintendo was putting out, which was, oh, it's real family friendly and it's good for kids, and the console is white and the games are all brightly colored. And I mean, the box was black. It had the big silver logo on it. It had the big screenshot from Altered Beast, and it looked edgy. It felt edgy. The controllers were a little too large for little kid hands and had 3 buttons, which was amazing at the moment. The game cartridges were really cool and sleek, and they didn't have the names on the front. They were only on the top, and it did weird little things like when you had 2 controllers plugged in, it wouldn't ask you if you wanted to do 1 or 2 player. In some of the launch games, you had to press start of the second controller, but if you only played it 1 player, it would let you swap controllers back and forth, which Nintendo didn't do at the moment. And we were just like, oh man, that's so cool. What kind of thought went into that? It had almost all arcade games, just really fantastic stuff.
I had a Super Nintendo.
God, you suck.
And that's not what you said when we opened my luggage day one. You're like, you bought a Super Nintendo.
I did not.
You did, sir.
I'm like, wow, your Super Nintendo is ugly and discolored. Mine is beautiful and pristine. Let's throw yours away.
No, we still have mine.
I think, okay, when we talk about
I'm sure we do. Like I'd throw away a Super Nintendo.
Not to interrupt the family
No,
fighting.
I was looking for you to interrupt because I was like out of breath.
But I, as a non-Genesis owner, I still remember what I think was kind of the big moment for me that made me want a Genesis, and I think was a big defining moment for the Sega Genesis was the release of Mortal Kombat. And the fact that the Sega Genesis was the only system cool enough to have the blood code. Whereas on the Super Nintendo, it was like, no, it's sweat.
I had the Super Nintendo version.
Did you really?
Because the graphics and sounds were better. But the gameplay was broken as shit.
Yeah, it really was.
That was the big problem with the SNES version. It just didn't play right. But it looked like scaled down, but it looked like the arcade. And that was just sort of the weird thing about it. The Genesis version was a big seller. But that didn't come out till, 94?
It was later on. It was.
Yeah, it was 93 or 94. So you're talking like 3 or 4 years in. And it kind of gave... What was weird was, the SNES came out and the SNES was successful, and the Genesis came out with Sonic, and the Genesis was holding its own, and then the Mortal Kombat thing, then the SNES got Street Fighter 2. Yeah. And all of a sudden, we were all throwing the Genesis aside because it was like we had to play Street Fighter 2.
Talk about a third-party exclusive.
That was a huge system seller.
It was huge.
And, because the Genesis didn't get Street Fighter 2 until Special Champion Edition, they had no analog to it. So they brought out MK. MK gave the Genesis more life because their version had fatalities. It had blood. It played faster. It played better. Yeah, it sounded kind of wonky and it looked a little funky, but it was closer to what the Mortal Kombat fan wanted.
Right. Very good summary of that there, Loki.
I didn't have a Genesis right away, but I did get one.
Damn.
I did get one later on.
Good man.
So I think one of my favorite games on there. Well, I had 2 favorite games. One would have been their version of Jurassic Park, which was the side scroller version where you could play as the dinosaurs. That was pretty cool. And then Vector Man, actually, I kind of liked
that
Vector
was
Man.
late.
And Earthworm Jim.
That was a good game. Earthworm Jim is a great example of a game that was just hyped as shit too. Like they pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, and then it came out and it was good.
Kaijudo in chat saying the game came out in 92, not 93 or 94. That actually does sound right because I remember I got in a fight with my ex-girlfriend.
I know it was a couple years in.
All right.
Because remember, it launched in 89, so we're not talking like first Christmas or second Christmas. It'd be like the third or fourth Christmas for the console.
Dan, I hate to disappoint you, but the first Sega system I ever owned was a Dreamcast, and even then it was after they had slashed the price to like $50.
Well, I'm not surprised by that.
We had a Dreamcast before the Dreamcast was out here.
Oh, yeah, with the Japanese import.
Because there were like 6 people who owned the Master System.
Yeah.
And so when the Genesis came out, it had a big mountain to climb, but the whole thing was they kind of pulled the Sony where they didn't go directly after the Nintendo consumer at first. They went after the older gamer. They said, like I said, everything's a little edgier, a little more expensive, a little bit bigger, but you're going to get the hardcore arcade games that you want. You're not going to get Super Mario, but you will get Altered Beast. You will get Golden Axe. You will get Revenge of Shinobi. that was probably the other really good launch game, Revenge of Shinobi.
Oh, Shadow Dancer. That was another great title.
Yeah, Shadow Dancer, which is a Mega Drive or a Genesis exclusive because the arcade version is completely different.
And Moonwalker. Come on, how can I forget Moonwalker?
Oh yeah.
Not at launch, but a great game.
Yeah.
First year or maybe second year.
Strider.
Strider, was probably the first, not the first Christmas, but the second Christmas. Christmas 90.
And you remember I sat down and beat it on Genesis one of our first years together.
Actually, I think you beat it on the arcade emulator that we had.
No,
Callus.
I beat it on the Genesis.
I
did. I was sitting on the living
Whatever.
room
The
floor.
Genesis version's easier.
All right. Well, we could reminisce on Sega Genesis all night, and Dan's going to try. But
Yes, we can.
I do want to move on.
Let me
for
tell you
time.
about this new title. Hey, did I tell you about something on Genesis?
So
All right.
don't I have a story?
Well-
Does what Nintendo don't.
Shut up.
While I mute Dan's mic, let's move on to.
Hey, Jamie, tell someone about how great the Genesis is.
Well, how about Plants vs. Zombie Garden Warfare?
On Genesis.
For people who are interested in this game, it is...
Sega fans. Okay, I'm done. She dropped the mic.
Take the mic out of his hand. Give me that.
Aw, Dan.
Now
gave her
I
the
have
mic.
2 mics. Yes, I am. Ooh. Hey, leave my coffee alone. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. I'm going to strangle him with a cord.
Do you get to play as the coffee bean in Garden Warfare?
It's free! Bitches, it's free for a little while. 72 hours worth of free on Lollergens. So go get it. And here's Dan talking about more Sega shit.
They didn't really have Plants vs. Zombies on Sega, but they did have Zombies Ate My Neighbors, which had a lot of hedges.
It did have plants in it. Many plants. And several zombies.
I love how Jamie literally read a story about a new game that's free and neither one of you care.
Is it on Sega Genesis?
No.
Then it doesn't matter.
Here's why I don't care. Here's why I don't care about that. It's because it's not free forever. It's just a free trial over the weekend. Now, if it was one of those, hey, Origin, or it's Origin, give me a free game. Yeah, sure, I'd go download it. That'd be awesome.
Wing Commander 3 is still free.
Yes, Wing Commander 3. Go download that. But, it's not one of those. Free trial, I don't give a shit. So, I don't know.
It's one of those. Isn't it a free weekend when you start it? It's not like Steam weekends where it's between. I thought it was like 72 hours when you download it and start it.
Yeah, I still
I think
don't
that's
care.
how it works. Huh. All right. Anyhow, so let's travel around the world and check out some release dates of some games that are coming out. That sadly they're probably not free, but you never know. Loki,
Are they on the
we'll start with you
Genesis?
guys. I will cover Genesis release dates.
No, but guess what? Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare is coming out on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4, but that's because EA said, hey, guess what? Microsoft paid for an awesome exclusive on Xbox One and Xbox 360, so you guys get it 6 months later. Woo! So you better believe that whenever Tomb Raider comes out on PlayStation, it's going to be probably 6 months later because that seems to be all their deals are. 6 months, comes out on the other systems. So those will be PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. And then Tales of Xillia 2 on PlayStation 3. And finally, Diablo 3, the Ultimate Evil Edition on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Xbox 360.
All right. Traveling over to Japan, taking a look at the Mega Drive releases in Japan. Nothing, Dan. There's nothing coming out on the Mega Drive this week in Japan.
And Wii U
Damn
releases
it.
and nothing.
Well, the Mega Drive really wasn't the most successful system in Japan. Did you look at the European or the Brazilian
So how
releases?
about what's coming on other systems?
Well, I was going to say also nothing on the Xbox 360, but that actually isn't true. That's usually a running joke, like Xbox 360 in Japan, ha ha ha. But the Xbox 360 is getting World of Tanks. Xbox 360 Edition Starter Pack is out in Japan this week. So more releases than the Mega Drive. Go figure. On the PlayStation 4, a big week over there on the 21st. Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, Ultimate Evil, and The Last of Us Remastered hitting Japan this week. The Xbox One still not out in Japan, so we don't actually have releases for that yet. On the PlayStation 3, Diablo 3 makes its way out there as well. Nothing on the Wii U this week because, releases are few and far between on the Wii U. But the PlayStation Vita has a few games to kind of follow up what Akuma JP said earlier. Binary Star, Bullet Girls, and Chaos Head Duel all coming out this week on the PlayStation Vita. So there are still some releases on the Vita. Just one game on the 3DS this week. Tetsudo Nippon Rosa no Tabi Kashima Rinkai Tetsudo Hen comes out this week. I'm trying to see what that game is. It looks like it's a game about public transit or like transit trains. It's a train game.
People love their trains in Japan.
Some people love their trains in America too. We don't
Remember
get
they used
cool
to have
games
those
like
big,
this.
awesome controllers for the train games?
I think they still do.
They
still
probably
do.
still do.
Awesome.
Yeah, and on 3DS,
Wasn't there like a
you could have
big
it on the bottom.
Shinkansen thing that came out like last year?
Probably. I don't know. They don't release the really cool stuff here. We got Railroad Tycoon, and I think I had the A Train on Commodore 64.
They have a train simulator game. I know
They
it's on
do.
Steam because they have zombie DLC for it. Don't ask me why. They have that, and then there was the warehouse simulator game. They also had zombie DLC for.
What if G made like a funny typo? Warriors.
All right, just a couple more stories for you guys, and then the classic.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. UK dates. My bad.
Jeez, Rob.
No one cares.
You can leave.
Is anything
Rob will
coming out
take
on
me
the
home.
Genesis?
In the UK, it would be the Mega Drive,
Oh,
sir.
my bad.
On the 19th, we have Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls for PS3, Xbox 360, and PS4, and X-Bone, and not Genesis. On the 20th, we have Counter Spy for PS4, Vita, and PS3. Dan? Mega Drive. There, I said it.
It's on the Mega Drive. Sweet. I'm importing it.
On the 21st of August, we have Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare on Xbox 4 and... I'm sorry, not Xbox 4. PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3. See what you made me do?
Mega Drive.
I'll Mega Drive the car over you. I'll run over you with my Mega Fiat.
All right.
No.
Now, just a couple more stories, and then the classic game of the week. It'll be back to Jamie, because it's all about Jamie.
The irony is it probably won't be a Genesis game.
It is actually not a Genesis game tonight. But that's okay. All right, moving, because she's probably done every Genesis game at one point or another. She's done a lot of Sega games.
Didn't I do like a... Oh, shoot. I actually fucked up because I was going to do my whole Capcom the Q-Sound era games.
Yeah, you broke your own
I
pattern.
broke my... I'm going to have to start my pattern again next week.
All right. Well, that's okay, because the show is broken itself when it keeps disconnecting tonight, so it's appropriate. Loki.
All right, Mario Kart. So lots of copies have been sold. They've surpassed 1 million in the U.S., and that's a pretty amazing feat considering they haven't really sold that many systems. But Mario Kart definitely helped, so good for them. And, of course, we'll see some free DLC that's totally not... I don't know. Totally not cashing in from sponsors, but whatever. I'm actually excited to see more track DLC. And speaking of tracks, there's actually some cups that were not in the game. They have some unused icons, including, let's see here. Looks like a Yoshi egg, a star, a boo, and a blue shell.
Oh, God, I can only imagine what a blue shell cup is going to consist of.
My understanding isn't one of the new DLCs like Mercedes based?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
you get Mercedes carts?
It's
Where
coming out August 24th, I think.
where does that come from?
Just some weird type of deal. It was in Japan first. They've had it for a while. It was just some weird licensing deal they had.
But I mean, who's going to be sitting there and they're going to be playing their Wii U and they're going to be going, because I could choose a Mercedes in Mario Kart, I think I'm going to head on down to my local Mercedes dealer and take a test drive. It just doesn't seem to have a lot of synergy.
Not everyone is like you, Dan.
Brand awareness.
Well, I mean, it might work on me, but I mean, it's like, fuck it. I'll definitely, it's like
Dan gets out of
Mercedes-
bed going, I want to test drive a car today.
Mercedes is trying to hook them early. They're all like, when I was 10 years old, I drove a Mercedes in Mario Kart, and I'm semi-successful now.
If I actually took this seriously, which I'm going to humor Dan and take this seriously, I think it is a part of brand awareness, and it may not be so much about trying to get the person to go out and test drive a Mercedes as it is trying to reach the person that's already thinking about driving a car who may have thought, I didn't think about a Mercedes, but now I'm seeing it on these YouTubes of people playing Mario Kart, and it's just creating the awareness. And
You're a fucking idiot.
Fuck you. Get off the show. Fuck you.
No. I just don't buy that. I see the user base for the Wii U and the user base for the Mercedes-Benz automobile as so different that I just can't see them working together. It's just two great tastes that don't go together.
It's just that they paid them money to put it in their game.
I know.
That's all it was
Nintendo
because
doesn't
they're like,
do
we
nothing.
need money.
Right? No, I'm saying Nintendo. Yeah,
gonna
that's
give
why.
us money.
That's what exactly what I'm getting at. How did
Then
this
you know
go
what?
about?
Dan,
Nintendo doesn't do anything
Dan,
for free.
I want to see
Oh
Trojan.
my God, Rob! I don't. You're not really an idiot.
I want to see Trojan Condoms pay them a lot of money to put some DLC in, like, I don't know, Mario Kart. Why not? Let's do that.
Dude, that would be awesome. There could be a
Dan-
condom power up. It covers you up and you're protected from everything until it wears off.
Dan, you could have the Mercedes in Mario Kart, or you can have Yaris.
Yaris probably made more sense because it's a cheap.
Are you really right now?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. First of all, Yaris is a bootsy game, so I'm not trying to endorse that you. Well, you can't download it, but okay, Yaris was a cheapy little car that's going to be geared towards 20-somethings who are probably sitting on their fucking couch playing Xbox 360. Do I think for a second that Yaris sold Toyota any cars? No, but I'm sure, it's not as if Mercedes came out and said, you know who we're going after? We're going after Gran Turismo players.
Well, here's the thing, too, though. When, like, I was looking for a car and I was looking for some affordable cars and stuff, it's like, oh, hey, cheap car. Hey, it's a Yaris. Let me see what that's about,
Yeah. So,
Not saying that I was going to buy it, but it's like it's made it stand out like a fraction of a percent more than, like, say, I don't know,
well, and unless I'm completely off base onto what the common user of the Wii U is, apparently it's an affluent, 40 to 50 something that's making six figures. Because because I guess there is a $40,000 Mercedes out there now. Maybe that's the whole idea. Maybe they're trying to say, hey, you're 23 years old and you're sitting at home playing a game for 12-year-olds. Come buy a Mercedes.
You get a used Mercedes.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's got like an 83, diesel piece of shit Mercedes that you can drive in the game.
They do have the old
Mario's like sticking out of the hood. Fuck.
They do have, like, was it some of the classic Mercedes in there? Like, they have the classic, I forget, the one that's like the Monopoly car in the game.
Right.
And,
yeah, it's only like, and it's more expensive than any new Mercedes.
Yeah. I don't know.
The SLR McLaren,
Let's see. I was going to see exactly which cars were in there.
It would all make more sense to me if it was like Mercedes free download pack for Forza 5.
Let's see. It was the 1957 300 SL Roadster, the 1934 W25 Silver Arrow, and let's see, the new compact SUV. The GLA.
I was thinking, hey, maybe it's not such a cash-in. Maybe they're just going to put some cute cars in there as some sort of freebie. Then it's like, oh, yeah, and the new compact Mercedes SUV.
All right. For time, I got to move on. I want to hit one more story here before we get to the classic game of the week, which has no add-on car DLC that I know of, but we'll see. You guys all know about what went down on Twitch last week. We talked about that, and I'm sure a lot of your favorite podcasts have been talking about the controversy happening at Twitch. Well, a little bit of irony on this story. Twitch seems to have expanded into more live streaming demonstrations, I suppose, for lack of a better term, for electronic music. Porter Robinson released a new album this past week, Worlds, and he had a Twitch stream that ran this thing where he hung out with fans and talked about the video games that inspired the tracks and showed the recording studio and so forth. So it was a little weird because I guess it was about games because he talked about video games, but yet it was this album promotion for copyrighted music. So I don't know if the archives got bleeped or whatever. I don't know. But this isn't the first time this has happened either. There's, let's see, Mad Descent, who is the label behind Diplo, Dylan Francis. They did a Twitch channel.
Diplo.
Is it Diplo? Sorry, you can tell how much I listen to these artists. They did a Twitch channel where the folks are talking with fans. And Darude, I know Darude. They did the after party. Remember Sandstorm? That's my excuse to play Darude right now. So anyway, interesting that this is some territory that they're getting into because it's not really directly about video games, and it's barking up the tree of something that they really cut back on last week. So, I don't know.
It's a little hypocritical, actually.
A little bit?
A little bit.
Why do you think?
Because they're like, you can't play copyright music. we're going to play copyrighted music.
That's right. That's our job to play copyright music.
But is it the copyright holder playing the copyrighted music?
I would assume so in this case because it's the record label doing it. But
Then it's a little different.
But when you're using an all-automated system to bleep things, I wonder if that matters. Because we've seen cases on YouTube anyway. I mean, I guess I am doing apples to oranges, but if it's to be believed that YouTube's going to buy Twitch, I think it's a fair comparison. YouTube has dropped video and copyright striked like people that hold the IP, like game creators whose soundtracks get flagged from whoever owns that it gets their whole damn movie flagged.
Right. Well, and they kind of backed off on that a little bit. It was really bad about a year back. I think that Twitch is fantastic. And I mean, I haven't really followed their recent troubles. I know that they just dropped the whole Justin TV label. But I think that for gamers, Twitch is literally the validation of the hobby. It's an entire network. You can watch pretty much any game that you'd want to watch. You can stream any game that you'd like to stream and try to get watchers. But I can also see how if it's not already being perverted terribly, how it can be just perverted terribly and ruined in a second, as any good idea does when you involve humanity.
All right. On that note, let's talk about other of humanity's perverted ideas in a segment we call the Classic Game of the Week. Star Soccer's going to take a step into the vault and find a game that she thinks, hey, you kids should be playing this game. I don't know why you're not playing this game. Actually, a lot of you have probably played this game, but remember this game?
Yep.
It's cool.
And it actually is old.
It is old, and I kind of looked at this going, oh my god, this game is that old? And yes, it is. Dark Soccer, what is the Classic Game of the Week?
It's Bejeweled. Because it's old.
It is.
Came out in 2001, and I think this is the first solely browser game I've ever done as well. So we're definitely getting into the internet age with this.
Possibly.
But basically, it's a puzzle game created by PopCap. It started off as a web-based flash game called Diamond Mine that was inspired by a game called Shariki. Basically, you just have to match up 3 gems in a row, and you can get more than that. It's kind of like the Columns thing, too, right, Dan? Columns? Sega?
All I'm going to say is, for the record, I would be shocked if there's not a Sega Genesis version of this out there.
Columns.
Columns is not the same.
I know, but still. But anyway, the game, it's basically just so simple and kind of stupid and addicting. But we now have so many different versions of Bejeweled, and it's been on fucking everything. So basically, Bejeweled was actually created by, the name came up by Microsoft, who thought that Diamond Mine was too similar to another game called Diamond Mines, as far as the name. So basically, it's been everywhere. It's been on Windows, where it was Bejeweled Deluxe, and it was on iOS. It's been on old PDAs like the BlackBerry, the iPhone, Palm OS, Windows mobile smartphone platforms. It's been on Xbox Live Arcade. It was one of the first downloadable games for the iTunes Store on the iPod. I had it on my old flip phone. I won't say anything about how often I played that game, but I had it. It's been on the Chrome Web Store for free. There's an HD iPad version. And basically, it's also, I think, what has led up to the popularity of such games such as Candy Crush Saga and other similar type of puzzle games. Although, this game probably wouldn't exist if it wasn't for its precursors like Columns, Puyo Puyo, what was that one that Julie liked, Dan? Magical Drop.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I like Magical Drop.
All kinds of just the little puzzle games like this that are... And the thing is that the concept behind the game is really easy. However, it just gets complicated, especially now that they've got these multiple versions of it, because I've been playing a whole crap ton of Bejeweled 3 lately, which is just Bejeweled on iOS right now. Like the butterfly mode I'm addicted to. Diamond. There's actually a mode called Diamond Mine that's like groundbreaking, using the gems and everything. It's pretty interesting. But basically, you just have to swap one gem with one adjacent to form a horizontal or vertical chain of 3 or more. And then you can cause chain reactions, basically where they will cascade effect and break many more and you get more points and stuff. So you've got, in the original, there were 2 versions. There was normal, where every match would fill a bar and then a level would be complete, and that's classic mode in some of the newer versions. When you were out of moves, it was game over. Matching 4, 5, or 6 was just still a regular thing. You didn't get the special gems until Bejeweled 2 forward. Then there was time trial, where the bar would start through the halfway through the middle, and the level would complete when the bar is full, and over time the bar would decrease. So basically you're fighting the bar to see how well you're going to do. And that's really it. You know, you can actually still visit the original Bejeweled Flash version and play it online. So
I used to play the crap out of Bejeweled on MSN Zone. How old is that?
Well, let's see. 2001, you know, I had barely been living out here, only 2 years.
Been out here for like 2 or 3 years.
About 2 years. So, yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and put a caveat out there. Bejeweled is not in the vault. Bejeweled will never be in the vault. Bejeweled is not a game.
It technically is, because I have a box for Bejeweled 2.
Technically, we don't have a vault. By the way, the vault's been disassembled for years.
But it lives on in
my mind.
Yes, exactly. All right, there it is, your classic game of the
very
week.
small.
Bejeweled. And some folks in chat asking, like, What Up G says, how old is considered classic? And the rule here at OLR is 10 or more years old, that's a decade old. And, 13 years for Bejeweled. So
I think classic should be pre-2000.
But what's funny is that when we changed the rule to be 10 or more years, it was about 2001, 2002 for how far back we were going. So it's just like we're still moving forward.
Not that I would say that Bejeweled is not a classic game. I mean, it's been played by 11 gajillion people.
Right.
Just, because there's no...
You're just pissed it wasn't a Genesis game.
No, fuck you. You know there's a homebrew of Bejeweled on the Genesis. You know it exists.
And Bobby still keeps wanting me to do Halo for classic game, and I'm not gonna.
All right.
Part of the reason we changed the rules so that we could throw in Dreamcast games and GameCube.
Yes. All right.
Dreamcast shit came out in '99.
No.
Right.
Right.
But some of the other games I've covered have been out in the 2000s.
Maybe classic is everything older than the current generation.
Maybe classic is older than most of our listeners.
Maybe classic is 2 generations old.
All right. Well, anyway.
So it can't be PS2,
when you
but
come
it
to
can
the
be
show
PS1.
regularly, you'll
No,
have more
I guess it could be PS2, but it can't be PS3.
Dan, let it go.
Right.
All right. Moving on.
Right, Dan, you're right.
Well, no, you asked. Somebody asked, and I was answering the fucking question. You're screwing up your own show.
How dare you?
Every gamer gets a voice. Well, I was answering the question. I was answering the question besides your guys' wishy-washy. Oh, maybe 10 years. Maybe as old as Jamie says it is.
All right, look, we're going to take a break, calm down a little bit here. We'll be back with more of Orange Lounge Radio after a quick break here. Your emails, Fugle Question of the Week, Rapid Fire News, and much more. And we come back with more of Orange Lounge Radio right after this.
And more Sega Genesis.
Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Lounge Radio live on this. Let's see, it is August the 17th of 2014. 564 episodes down of Orange Lounge Radio. Actually, this is 564 in progress. So anyhow, over there, I noticed in the corner, Loki is showing Dan Goat Simulator for the first time. Is that what's happening over there? Because I hear Dan going,
Yeah, I was showing him Goat Simulator.
That goat just got so goddamn simulated by that car.
Good times. Good times. All right. Well, we are going to go over some rapid fire news. I hate to break into the Goat Simulator, but we still have a lot of show to cover, and we're running behind tonight a little bit thanks to live difficulties. But I appreciate you guys sticking with us here live. Again, we do tape live at the Voice of Geeks Network, vognetwork.com, Sunday nights at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. Usually there's not so many freaking drops and stream issues. But, of course, if you do miss us live, you can always check out the podcast feed, which is available on your favorite podcast app. Loki.
Hold on. Goat Simulator's being glitchy. Like, I know. Shocking. Goat Simulator glitchy? What? Had to force quit this thing because it's all main menu. Nope. Main menu. Nope. Main menu. Nope. So, anyways. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Okay. So, hey, this is pretty cool. If you're a fan of shmup games, the creator of Ikaruga has a brand new game coming to PlayStation 4 called Ubusana, and that is literally all we know about it. He apparently talked about it on his blog and mentioned that it's going to be a downloadable title on PlayStation 4.
You know where the creator of Ikaruga got their start, by the way? Genesis.
Of course.
So that's all we know so far, unfortunately. And then during the Microsoft conference, they actually announced that they're going to be doing an exclusive Xbox One bundle with Call of Duty, and it's going to have kind of a skin system, skin controller, a digital download of Call of Duty, Advanced Warfare, and a 1 terabyte hard drive. And it's also going to be $499, to which I say, why the fuck would I buy that when I can buy the Sunset Overdrive one for $399? And hell, if I really wanted to add some additional space, it would cost a hell of a lot less than $100. But I guess then I would get Call of Duty too. Whatever. But yeah, if you're interested, that'll be coming out at launch for, well, it'd be now on the 3rd because they're doing that Day Zero edition. Whoop-de-shit. And then, last but not least, Meta Knight is confirmed now for the new Smash Brothers game.
Did you say Mennonite?
Meta Knight.
Okay, because I didn't think they had much to do with video games. You know, it's not part of their lifestyle, and they are not the Amish. Hello, they're different.
Yeah, so Meta Knight, he will be coming, and I wish they just would talk about new characters, not old characters coming back, to be honest. And just do it all at once instead of like one character now, another character now, another character. I mean, we're only like about 6 weeks away from launch.
I kind of like when there's some surprises still in the game, although I guess in this internet age, the surprises never last long. But
true, but hopefully there'll be some unlockable characters like, Rob was last time. I mean, I thought that was cool.
It was so cool on Melee when you unlocked characters and you had no fucking idea who they were. All like, who the hell is this guy? Oh, he's kind of awesome.
Are they ever going to confirm Ness? That's the one.
Let's go buy
really
all of
upset.
the Fire Emblem games.
He's been in every
Quote
single
Dan.
game. I don't think they're going to take him out.
You never
It'd be
know.
funny though, like they have, they do it like Melee where they show the, silhouette, and it's like, sweetest Ness. It's like, haha, fuck you ain't getting Ness. And Mother is never going to fucking come to this console ever again. So.
All right, well, I have a few stories for you guys here. Starting off with a game I'm sure you all are very excited about, Just Dance 2015. Right, Dan? Big fan of this series, right?
Not on Sega Genesis.
Just Dance 2015 will be out on the Wii and the Wii U. That's right, the original Wii is still there. Let's see, it's also on it's on everything, honestly. And it has some new songs that were announced at Gamescom this week, including, and I know Dan is a big fan of all these artists, 4x4 by Miley Cyrus. Ain't No Mountain High Enough by Marvin Gaye. That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's see. Macarena by the Girly Team. So it's not just the Macarena. It's a Girly Team cover of the Macarena.
Yeah, if it's not by the original couple Macarena guys, it just ain't the Macarena.
You Spin Me Round Like a Record by Dead or Alive, which...
You damn right.
That song's pretty fucking rad. And last but not least, Best Song Ever by One Direction, which I do not actually believe is the best song ever. That is a lie. The test revealed that is a lie. Moving on.
Wait, it says something about Shenmue up there.
That's right, because this next thing is about Shenmue.
Oh my God, that's by Sega.
How about an HD remake of Shenmue? That's
Sweet.
right. An HD remake of Shenmue is happening. But here's the catch. It's happening by fans. It is not actually something that is Sega endorsed, which makes me question if it will actually happen at all.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put a no on that.
Yeah, right. And let's see how fast this gets shut down. But anyway, there's some YouTubes up there. The creator N. Kun Kid is using the original background modeling that was in Shenmue, but new textures. And the model for Ryo Hazuki is taken from the Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. So kind of interesting how they're doing that. So if you want to see more, you can go to YouTube for that, for the fan-made HD Shenmue remake, which in our chat room we have Fifth Dream saying, fuck yes, fuck no, god damn it.
Yeah, no, that was like awesome for like 20 seconds. I was like, this is the best day. No. Yu Suzuki's going to find that guy and kick him in the head. Yu Suzuki, by the way, still has every intention of finishing Shenmue. He just needs fat cash.
Black Wolf in chat says the fans are going to Sega saying, "Hey, Mister, want to wrestle?" And Sega will be like, "Yes, okay, you're dead." Fifth Dream in chat says, "Know where I can find a lawsuit around here?" All right.
Why doesn't Sega like Kickstarter Shenmue 3?
Because
if they don't
when
want to spend,
goes to
they would
Kickstarter,
make-
they're going to be like, "You're fucking Sega. You don't need Kickstarter."
but they'd make the money on it because the problem is that Sega can't afford to bankroll a game that's going to cost like $40 million.
Maybe if they stretched out his legs a little longer, he might be viable as a character for these new consoles.
Like, if
maybe.
If Sega were to launch a Kickstarter like that, though, I'd be like, seriously?
Maybe Yu Suzuki should just do it himself.
How about where the fuck is Phantasy Star Online 2 in the U.S. already?
Oh, yeah. Well, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. All right. Well, I guess I could always play this MMO. As I mentioned earlier in the show, World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor had its release date revealed, which is November 13th, 2014 is the day it's coming out. And if you're interested in getting the collector's edition, you can pick that up. Now, the official price hasn't been announced, but Amazon and GameStop are showing it at $90, which seems to be accurate. And
survey says ding, 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 ding.
this is, I believe, I don't know about the collector's edition, but I know the retail was supposed to be $10 more than it has been in the past. And I'm kind of sitting here going, for what? But anyhow, some of the things that you can get in the collector's edition, you get the physical DVD version of the expansion. Those are collector's items these days. A behind-the-scenes DVD and Blu-ray 2-disc set that gives you some commentary and interviews that you'll never watch. The soundtrack, you get the soundtrack on CD. That's pretty cool. You get an art book for your coffee table with a 160-page art book. It's something that you put in the computer and then rip to your iTunes or whatever your music thing of choice. You get a mouse pad because every collector's edition has had a stinking mouse pad with it. This one featuring the Warlord Blackhand. And some things you get in the game itself, a Dread Raven mount and a Dread Hatchling pet, and you get portraits for StarCraft 2, Warsong pennant for Diablo 3, and a card back for Hearthstone because we love that Blizzard synergy.
How about give us a good game?
It's not that
and it all comes in an oversized box. That'll take up a lot of room on your shelf.
That's right. I don't know. I don't want to say that World of Warcraft is a bad game because I've spent years of my life playing it and having a good time. And the right people will always make a game fun, I think. But it's just one of those things where it's like I just really disagree with the direction the game's been going in lately and the way they've been pacing content, which is not at all. But anyway, I can do a whole nother rant on this, and I probably will on this week's Swordhouse. Moving on, Dark Sakura.
Well, for people who have been paying attention to Mortal Kombat X, Kano has been teased now. There was a trailer acquired by Eurogame Portugal who said that there were 3 different versions of Kano to be seen. One is a cutthroat version that allows him to power up his knife attacks with his cybernetic heart. Then there's a full cybernetic version that gives him a bunch of weaponry, and then the commando variation where he becomes a grappler. So I don't know how I feel about that. There's also a jungle stage because every Mortal Kombat has a stage with trees that probably eat people. And then there is going to be a Super Smash Brothers 3DS bundle that will be out October 3rd. It is red with all the characters on the cover in black and white, or very, very grayscale, pick renditions of the characters over a red background with red and black lettering. And it's limited edition, as they all are, and it comes with it installed on a 3DS XL so that you won't actually have a physical copy of it at all. Also, last but not least, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and Ground Zeroes are coming to Steam. So, good.
Oh, nice. That's kind of cool.
We get to play the Phantom trailer.
Nice. All right, let's do the Foogle question of the week. Every week here on the show, you take Facebook and Google Plus and slam them together, and you get Foogle.
It's Radio
This week, our question had to do with demos, since I know PT was on our minds, which we talked about earlier in the show. So we asked our communities, when was the last time you got really hyped for a game demo? Did you ever buy something else just to get a demo of a game you were really looking forward to? So let's start on Facebook tonight with Tech2030, who says, back in 07, I bought Crackdown just to play the Halo 3 beta, and I ended up liking Crackdown better than Halo 3. I don't think you were the only one in that case. Alan Alchemy said, let's get this one out of the way. The Omega-hyped Final Fantasy VII demo that came with Square Fighter Tobal number 1.
Yes.
And yes, I did buy it for that reason. Though, to be fair, Tobal number 1 and Einhander are the two top abandoned Square franchises I'd wish a comeback for.
Oh, Einhander.
So ball number 2 wasn't that bad, and it came with a demo as well.
Both the Tobal games were actually really cool.
DJ Rama S kind of chimed in there with a nice hearty yes to agree with that comment, saying, I bought Tobal number 1 just to get the Final Fantasy VII demo. Worth it. Dark Tetsuya said 3 for the Tobal and Final Fantasy VII demo. Also want to add the official PlayStation Magazine's Metal Gear Solid 1 demo blew my mind back in 1998. He stole my answer. That was, I remember when that was with PlayStation Magazine. That demo blew my fucking mind when I was younger.
What about Zone of the Enders?
I don't remember that playing that
Came
demo.
with the Metal Gear Solid
Do you
2
remember?
demo.
Oh.
Do you remember what the demo that came with Final Fantasy VII was?
That came with Final Fantasy VII?
No demo
Right?
came with
There was
507.
Musashi Den.
No.
No, that
Didn't
was
it come with-
that had the demo
No.
for 8.
That was
Yeah.
it. That was it. That
No.
was the reverse
Yeah, it was already like 3 or 4 discs. Where were they going to put the demo?
up your butt.
Robert K said,
I don't think that would have had the proper effect.
Robert K starts his answer with, after being a staunch Sega fanboy, does he have your attention, Dan? The Tomb Raider 2 demo that came with PlayStation Magazine made me buy a PlayStation just to play it.
Yeah, see what happened? See what happened? Sony stole that shit.
Bonus Sega answer, reserving a copy of the Sega Magazine just for Christmas nights. I miss magazine demos.
Christmas nights came with like every magazine too. I think I probably had like 3 copies.
Although
Only got one left.
Keep in mind,
Yeah,
Robert.
we have-
Keep in mind, Robert K is overseas.
Robert K, you the man.
We have a Japanese
Overseas,
one too.
see, overseas, they appreciate Sega. In Europe, they fucking love Sega. They love it. Nintendo was an afterthought in Europe.
You know what else they love in Europe? Commodore 64.
Commodore
That's one.
64 is really neato.
You know what else? You know what else they love in Europe?
What?
Marmite.
No. That's in Australia.
Moving on.
That's
You're
Vegemite.
thinking Vegemite. All right.
Okay, well, fuck you.
Degenerate Johnny says, back in the mid-90s, I subscribed to PC Gamer, which came with PC demos almost every issue. Although some demos were quite good, none of them excited me more than the Aliens vs. Predator PC demo. As the player, you were offered the option to play through the demo as either the Marine, Alien, or Predator. It came out during the time in which AVP hype was at its highest. To this day, the demo and the game rank quite high amongst my favorite FPSs. Andy R. said, I bought the Dragon Quest game that came with the Final Fantasy 12 demo on it. It was 8, wasn't it? It came with the 12 demo, I think it was. Now, Alan decided to throw in 2 more answers here. He's hogging the segment tonight, but I will mention this because he says, Brave Fencer Musashi for Final Fantasy VIII. So that was the other one there. So, and Jason, our buddy VXJasonXV, replied to that with a little up arrow saying, yep, Final Fantasy VIII. I also remember being hyped to play the Final Fantasy VIII demo, though not owning a PlayStation at the time meant I had to play it at a friend's house. The Halo 3 demo included with Crackdown is the only other one that comes to mind. Plus, Crackdown was an amazing game on its own. Let's check out some of the answers from Google+, because believe it or not, there's people on Google+. Actually, we have quite a few answers on Google+ tonight. Now, as part of the article, I linked my YouTube where I did my playthrough of the PT demo, which also got some response as Renee from Google+, Renee Y. We love her. DNL from the DDR Freak days, if I remember right. Renee said, loved watching Sky get scared witless during the stream. I haven't been so hyped since Silent Hill 3, honestly. But did anyone else feel like PT was a scarier but less thought out Stanley parable? Like some puzzles were too hard while others were really obvious. Act Deft replied and said, I remember buying the official PlayStation Magazine just to get a demo disc with the DDR Max 1 US demo. I played that demo disc a lot. Curiously enough, the featured game in the demo disc was Sly Cooper, which I didn't know about back then, and when I played it, got really hyped for the game and have been a fan of the series since. Flacco Jones replies, my mind goes to the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo that was bundled in with Zone of the Enders on PlayStation 2.
You're damn right.
It was fantastic, and better yet, it was based on the Japanese version, which ended up being a little racier and more fun than the eventual opening level in the finalized American version.
We drove all the way down to San Francisco to buy the import of Zone of the Enders so we could get the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo.
That's pretty hot. Red Entertainment says the only time I've bought a game to get a demo for another game is when I bought Dragon Quest VIII to get the demo for Final Fantasy XII. This is the only time I've done something like this, including things like seeing movies to see a trailer, watching a TV show to see something for another show, or paying for a concert to see an opening act. Last but not least, I think this is Brosime, but it could be Brosime. But I'm going to guess Brosime, replies and says, I've never purposely bought a game for a demo, but I do remember being quite happy when I was told by a friend my copy of Crackdown had the Halo 3 demo with it. So it seems like the Crackdown Halo 3 thing seems to be the most popular answer.
It's more recent.
Anybody in studio, open forum on this answer, especially if you can think of one that hasn't been named yet. Demo and game combo.
There was one that a demo that got me excited for the game, even though I didn't go out of my way to get the demo, and that was for Jumping Flash. Right when the PlayStation was new. And I just remember playing that one level of Jumping Flash on the demo over and over and over and over. And then I actually went on purpose and I paid like $1 because I could to get the demo version for Jammer Lami. Before.
Oh yeah, that's an awesome demo because it's got a lot of like weird content on it.
Yeah, and it basically has all of the music in the game on it. It's just sort of locked out, so it's weird. So I ripped all the music from the game.
Well, didn't it have like
and it was all the Japanese versions?
Like the change stuff from when she dies.
Yeah, it had like the rap about being in hell and everything for the Chop Chop Master Onion.
The Zoe Metal Gear Solid 2 demo is the ultimate expression. I did do the Tobal #1. And Final Fantasy VII thing too. I mean, I bought both of those games full retail release because of the demo discs they came with. Both decent games. Zoe. What game came with the first Devil May Cry demo disc? That was a really good one too.
Hell, I don't remember. Yeah.
But yeah, the one where it's all like strange and ironic that it should end the same way. Oh man, that was such a good demo.
Loki, anything?
I do have one that hasn't been mentioned yet. I imported the Japanese Blu-ray for Advent Children for Final Fantasy 13.
I remember that. That was a good one. This might be a little bit outside the scope, but since my Metal Gear Solid answer got taken, I have to go this direction. But I remember it wasn't so much necessarily about buying a game to get the demo, but I remember calling into the BBS and sitting there watching my modem download for an hour so I could play the Wolfenstein 3D demo.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Episode 1. And then what was after that? Like you used to get the Episode 1 stuff all the time. It was Commander Keen. But there were some huge ones like Doom. The original Doom had like the first couple levels were playable in Doom.
Yeah, I always had to fucking fix my config sys and my goddamn auto-exec bat.
Yeah.
You get the right memory allocated in the right spot.
Yeah, so even though it wasn't necessarily buying a game to get another game, you still had to invest something just to play the demo, just to get a taste.
Yeah, it was the distribution. It was like that 3D Realms Apogee distribution method.
Exactly.
Hey, it worked. Everybody had the first couple levels of Doom.
You know what was awesome, though? Was when PC gamers started putting full games in their stuff.
Yeah.
They had like Total Annihilation was one of the ones that they had in there at one time, and it's just I always loved just like I just buy PC Gamer all the time just for whatever free shit they had on their disc.
I remember when magazines started giving, like, there was a weird thing with Sega specifically where they gave away disc 1 of Shining Force 3, and it's like a 4-disc game. They just threw the first disc in like with the magazine.
Wow.
So that you would have that first like third or quarter of the game.
Wow.
And then want to invest in it. And I think they did the same for Panzer Dragoon Saga, which is amazing because the game's got a production run of like 7 units.
Right? But not the first disc, because there's plenty more out there.
There's at least 12 more.
Good answers tonight, you guys. Thanks for participating. If you want to answer a future Fugle question, they go up on Sunday morning, afternoonish. Be in our Facebook community, facebook.com/orangeloungeradio, or our Google Plus community, google.com/plus Orange Lounge Radio.
I wish they'd bring back Jumping Flash.
Props, by the way, to the Google Plusers this week. You guys, there was quite a few of you this week. You're showing the Google Plus love. All right, let's move on with some more stories. We have a few.
There's actually one last thing.
Yeah.
SSJ100 Matt says I'd subscribe to the Dreamcast magazine just for their demo discs. So did.
I mean, the CD era really ushered in those demos because I mean, it's not like you were going to have demo cartridges. I mean.
Well, there was 1 month in the official PlayStation magazine where there was like one demo disc that had the warehouse level of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Mm-hmm. I think it had a track on Gran Turismo. It had that Metal Gear
remember
demo.
that one.
And that demo disc had so much gameplay in it. Like, I probably played that disc more than I played any retail release for years.
I played the demo. It was for Cool Borders. I think the very first Cool
Yeah,
Borders.
Cool
I played that
Borders,
demo
maybe.
like I don't even know how many times. It would be just after school, just be playing that damn thing over and over, the same level over and over.
Oh, yeah, and you could master it. I mean, because there was so much you could do. I remember the demo for Spy Hunter for PS2. I could beat the first level. I could beat every single possibility on it. But there was like just a couple of those demos from that glory time of the PlayStation 1 where it's like that demo disc had 3 or 4 AAA Hall of Fame games on it. And you could play those levels for hours
Yeah, that was awesome.
if you were broke and bored, which it was.
All right.
Not
So
on Sega, but still good.
Kickstarter. You see a lot of games being backed and funded on there. Well,
Not Shenmue.
not Shenmue, but I guess the original creators of Night Trap are trying to bring out an HD remake of the game, or not remake, but HD remaster of the game. And they're seeking, I think
$330,000 or some arbitrary amount.
Yeah, $330,000.
Ridiculously too low. I mean,
Exactly.
Oh
And
man, this is hilarious.
so they want $330,000, and they're saying, I mean, they're promising the world here. They're saying that they're going to actually print discs and they're going to put them out in cardboard sleeves, and for game consoles, which I don't even know if the game publishers will let them, like the manufacturers will let them do that.
Here's the thing: it's not a high def version of Night Trap. They're basically saying that they want to reshoot the movie.
I don't think they're reshooting. They're taking the
They're
30,
not.
the 35 millimeter footage. Apparently, they say it's like 4K or even like they can
So they're just going to reuse.
Yeah, they're going to reuse the footage because apparently the footage that they shot was at a much, much higher quality than was actually available to be displayed in the game.
I mean, if it's 35 millimeter, it's good. But my understanding was they wanted to reshoot the game, rebuild a game engine, and publish it for consoles. And they wanted to do this for $300K. And then they still needed to buy the rights to use the Night Trap franchise.
No, they already bought the rights. They spent $250,000 on that. So that $300,000, $250,000 of it is repaying them back.
Yeah, see, that's why. Okay, that's right. That's what I was saying is that is scammy as hell, because they paid like $16 for those rights and managed to somehow get a $250,000 receipt.
With all due respect, as I realize the original creators of Night Trap are involved with this,
which was,
Kickstarter.
by the way, Rob, on Genesis.
Yeah, yes. But with all due respect, I have no interest in seeing this Kickstarter succeed, and I don't actually think it's a good thing at all. Because let's be real, and having come off just taking your wife out on a quote unquote friend date to see Showgirls at the movie theater, Night Trap is kind of the Showgirls of the video game world.
It is. It's definitely.
It's something that's so bad, it's kind of good, but that means you leave it in its original badness. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be redone. It's going to lose something.
Let's stop for a second. Has anyone in this room ever actually sat down, owned, and or played Night Trap besides me?
Not owned, but a friend of mine had it, so I played it at my friend's house.
But I mean, have you seriously sat down to try to play Night Trap with any degree of proficiency?
I don't know on what scale of, but I mean, yeah, we sat down and tried to play.
Did you try to beat Night Trap? Night Trap is kind of a cool game.
Yeah.
The idea behind Night Trap is that literally you're monitoring the house and you're triggering traps to take out monsters before they kill people. It's a great idea. It was definitely ahead of its time, and it wasn't going to be good because it was shot as a super, super B movie. Starring a B-movie actress who killed herself and a bunch of B-movie actors and actresses. But Night Trap isn't a bad game for what it is, which is a bad game.
Exactly.
But the thing with this is, it's not even about the quality of Night Trap or not, because I would love somehow to see
an homage
Night Trap
to Night Trap, a sequel
released as a DLC or as a downloadable game, even put on a disc, maybe even as a budget title, maybe even as a full release, and maybe even reshot. But these guys aren't doing it. These guys are trying to get people to give them money And they have absolutely no, like, they bought the Night Trap rights, and they're like, how the fuck do we get some money back out of this? Oh, well, yeah, we'll make a game. Yeah, we'll make a game out of it, and we're going to charge you for the rights. And if somebody paid $250,000 for the rights to Night Trap, man, they ought to be kicked in the balls until they explode. I mean, I'm sure it's the guy from Digital Pictures who is just, his glory days.
It was a bunch of old people. Like, I
his
seriously
glory
don't know
days
who
are
these guys
30
are.
years. That's glory days are 30 years behind.
I don't
them.
even know if they have like any programmers or anything. It's just a bunch of like these.
Yeah, no, it is.
Company owners on it.
Let me get to some comments from our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Rageinator says the closest thing to Night Trap that I've played was Wing Commander 3 and 4. The only thing those games have in common is it's part of the full motion video PC craze, and CD system craze at the time. There's really otherwise not a lot of similarities I can think of.
Wing Commander 3 had kind of an awesome flight game to go with the cheesy CGI.
Yeah. SSG 100 Matt says, I beat Night Trap at a party a few years ago with friends, eventually. I never owned it because my parents caught wind of the original scandal and wouldn't let me get it. Tiger Claw says, Double Switch was the closest to Night Trap, actually. So there's some comments from our chat room over at Live.
Double Switch. That game's also insanely, awesomely bad. I had so many of those Sega I mean, I probably still have a bunch of them, but I had Night Trap. I had Tomcat Alley. I had Double Switch. I loved the FMV games for what they were. I didn't walk into it going, this is going to be the next generation in gaming. It was just something different. Sewer Shark.
I remember Sewer Shark.
Welcome to the sewers, punk. I can still do that entire opening monologue from that game. Well, maybe not, but I could.
Maybe you could
I'd walk around Taco Bell doing it, and all my coworkers just be like, fucking Dan.
All right. Let me move on. I want to talk quickly about a new BioWare game, which should have Jamie's ears perking up a little bit, except this has nothing to do with Mass Effect or Dragon Age. Sorry.
I heard the Mass Effect guy.
Yes, he did. But that
was like, fuck you.
That was last week's news, Dan.
Yeah. I just wanted to say it because I know my wife loves Mass Effect, and this probably fucks up her good time. Take that.
I probably think he contributed
Mass Effect can eat me. It's not on Sega Genesis.
Watch your volume, Dan. All right. Shadow Realms is the name of the game from BioWare. It is a 4v1 game. Another one between
4 versus 1?
Yeah, between Evolve and the new Fable game and what Pac-Man Versus thrown away.
Pac-Man Versus is incredible.
I know, right? Well, that's like all of a sudden everybody's like, I want to make like Pac-Man Versus in my franchise.
That's a good idea.
I want to have like a fighting game that's 4v1. But just it's like completely unfair. Just like, the one person.
It already is completely unfair. It's 4 versus 1. Pac-Man Versus is an awesome game. We should hook that up and play.
We should. I'd love to. We should do a Twitch stream of that. It would be so much fun.
Fuck yes.
Yes. I have his Elgato capture card. I just never use it. All right.
Elgato es en fuego.
Moving on, Shadow Realms, a 4v1 story-driven online action RPG with dynamic co-op missions in an evolving BioWare world. There's supposed to be new episodes that'll be released through this as well. So it's a new IP for BioWare, so that's pretty cool that it's a new IP. That did come out of Gamescom. You can register for the alpha at shadowrealms.com/alpha, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be signing up for that. So pretty cool. Sounds like it could be, especially if it's like story-driven. I'm curious how the 4v1 aspect of that works with that, but I'll check it out. Be cool. Dark Sakura.
Well, we've been keeping up with the whole net neutrality bullshit that's been going on. This one's a really interesting one. Basically, Comcast and Time Warner had $132,000 in donations for an event that honored the current FCC commissioner and then pulled it when said commissioner, Mignon Clyburn, basically made a bunch of accusations against the companies that were trying to become one giant ISP and by his vote on the merger. So pretty much, yeah, that's what they were trying to do, and they just pretty much made themselves look shittier.
People from Comcast and Time Warner, by the way, donating $132,000 to anything, that's like their pocket change.
But still, the fact that they pulled said pocket change.
And, is Comcast really getting dogged on a lot in the news lately with all these people recording the customer service calls? What I just saw one today on the front page of like Yahoo or news.google or something where it was like the dude was on hold for 3 hours until the customer service center closed. And he had like the little timer running on his phone to prove it. Like, just
it's a giant company of dicks. Comcast.
To be fair, also the internet service provider powering our show tonight.
They are the best. They are the best internet service provider in our part of the world because we can't get Verizon, Fios, and shit like that. But God, like if you have to call Comcast customer service, they will happily fuck up your account for months and months and months. And every month you call them up and you're just like, God damn it, reverse the late charge. It's your fault. I will kill your face.
This is basically, though, what the official Comcast VP of Community Investment said. We have
It's a bribe. You know it. I know it. Let's just get it out in the open.
We have great respect and admiration for FCC Commissioner Mignon Clyburn for the Kites Foundation and its work. We do not want either the Commissioner or Kites to fall under a shadow as a result of our support for the diversity in the cable industry, which is why we are withdrawing our support for the dinner.
They just figured out a way to do it under the table.
I'm kind of done, so.
Jamie's just sitting over there going ... Can I tell my funny Comcast story here? Because this is hilarious.
Fuck yes.
So I just moved from the apartment to this house not that long ago, right?
Yes.
So I had my service moved, my Comcast service. But I don't know why they did it this way. They set up a new account for me completely, closed it, then did another one. So I've had like 3 accounts with Comcast. I end up getting a check in the mail from them for money that I guess somehow was not spent or like a refund. And I actually had to call them to be like, can I cash this check? Because like you just moved my service one place to another. Then I got a bill for the device that they said that was never returned. The device that they said was never returned because I moved it from one place to the other. So I called them and got that worked out, and finally they figured that out. I mean, to their credit, they fixed it. But to this day, I still get mail forwarded from my old address that's like, you should sign up for Comcast again. We miss you, and da-da-da. And I'm like, you guys, I moved my service.
Comcast.
It shouldn't be that complicated.
I've got 2 awesome Comcast stories.
All right, quickly.
Number one is like yours.
All right.
Where when we were in the old house where you guys used to do the show,
yeah.
and we had terrible service because I didn't own my own modem or
Studio 5
or pay the big money. Yeah. When we moved to the house that we're in now, Comcast fucked up my billing for like 6 months, and it's just like every month I had to call in. The other one was just like your second story. Comcast calls me one day. We're living at a house, and some lady in terrible broken English, and I'm sure she was just doing her best, was just like, "Hello, is Danielle Devrina there?" And I'm like, "This is Dan DeVriend." Oh, hello, Mrs. Devrina. We understand that you don't have Comcast service. I'm like, my name is Dan DeVriend, and I do have Comcast. Okay, thank you. Click. Awesome.
All right. Anyway.
To be fair, and even though I dog on them, I did actually call them this week to try to we got AT&T. AT&T came up to our door, and they're like, "Okay, here we can give you internet, and TV for basically $1 less."
You
than
didn't
you're paying
say
right
yes,
now.
did you?
No, I didn't say yes.
Oh, thank God.
Because their TV package was like their family package, so it's all these family channels.
Their internet is so you do have a family. Their internet is so bad it'll give you cancer.
Well, it's the fiber internet now that they have running through. It's 35.
Remember when someone cut the fiber optic cable in our neighborhood, sweetie?
What?
Remember when someone cut the fiber optic cable in our neighborhood?
Yeah, we got like 2 months of service out of that. I mean,
They were trying to stop this show.
But anyways, they
crashed into it.
They did offer
really
they're all, hey, we'll give you a TV package and double your internet speed and give you HBO free for a year for like $4 more.
Tell me on an iPad.
I don't want an iPad.
Satellite people will give you a fucking iPad.
Yeah,
HDTV.
No, the AT&T, they wanted to give me a Google Nexus tablet or something.
It'll be an iPad 2nd gen.
Fuck no.
It is an Xbox.
No, they give you the mini.
Do they?
What, you mean the one that's in my hand?
Like an
Please don't
Xbox
mock my
360, a
technology,
32-inch TV, or like a Google Nexus 3 or something like that. And I was like, eh.
You and I both know that's on your list to upgrade.
You should give me a Mercedes. Yes, it definitely is.
All right.
Nintendo's got some.
Going to our chat over at live.vognetwork.com. SSJ100 Matt says, poor Danielle.
I know. I feel real bad for her because she apparently does not have Comcast. And that was back when they had just started the cable modem. And I mean, it was so good. Like, I called Comcast as soon as I found out that exists and was like, can I get that at my house? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, come and take my money right now. Then the guy was going to try to give me some extra network cards, and the supervisor, because it was like one of his first installs, like just cock slapped him. It was brutal. He's like, dude, I just got in trouble for trying to hook you up with free shit. I'm like, dude, tell your supervisor he's a dick. And the guy just busted up laughing. That's when we lived in the hood. But when we got our cable modem, that like revolutionized
Yeah.
our life.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
so good because before that we paid for two phone lines.
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 AOL accounts.
When OLR first started, it was on DSL.
Oh
The
man, well I mean
Studio One.
this is pre OLR. This is when we still lived like this is before we even knew you guys.
Yeah.
Right, probably right
This
around the
is
time we met
when
you
we
guys.
still were at the tail end of dial-up, right?
No, I remember that
Yeah,
house
it
you
was-
lived in. The first time I ever met you, Dan, you and your friends were over playing having a LAN party, a local area Nintendo party.
Local area Nintendo.
And you had like 8 TVs hooked up, all playing The Legend of Zelda, and you were doing like a speed run.
Oh, I dominated that night too. It was so good.
Oh, man, you
that
gotta-
was where I lived
That
in all
was
that
when I
shit.
lived in the hood house.
You
Yeah,
gotta
we
do-
lived in the fucking ghetto.
You got to do that again because I want in.
We should do that like tonight.
I got to work tomorrow, fool.
Fuck,
Yeah,
call
I
in.
got work tomorrow.
I'm doing an admin day tomorrow, so y'all can suck it.
How about you suck? Never mind.
All right. As much as I love the Comcast Bitch Hour, we do have more games to discuss, which is
Comcast Bitch Radio.
Loki.
All right. So this is pretty sweet. No Man's Sky is gonna be a pretty ambitious game, and this is one of those stories that, like, hey, let's throw a cool statistic and talk about it. So here's their statistic. You would need 5 billion years to explore every planet in the game for 1 second. So that's how much procedural.
That's probably bullshit. But if that game is even half as good as they're trying to say it's going to be, it might sell me a PS4.
Yeah,
It sounds fucking cool as shit.
I really do want this game,
It does sound pretty awesome, and I already own a PS4, so I just
and
got to get
my
games.
You
PC is
damn
not
right.
gonna be good enough to run that. I need
Is
a new
it going to
PC.
be on PC? I thought
It
it was
is
going to
gonna
be
be on PC.
Oh, fuck the PlayStation 4.
Is
Yeah,
it cross play where PS4 people can play with PC
I have
people?
no
Like
idea.
Final Fantasy?
Probably not.
Oh, Final Fantasy 14.
It
doesn't?
might be. It might be because it's,
Microsoft's the one that doesn't play that game, but fuck them if they don't
But
want
I
to.
think that's more like a Square thing.
No, because no. Square's come out and said we would put Final Fantasy 14 on the Xbox One, but Microsoft won't do the cross server, and we're not having separate servers for Xbox One.
Right. Square is like, we're having one server, and Sony's like, yes, and Microsoft's like, no.
Exactly.
But I think that
But yet they did it for 11.
But I think this No Man's Sky thing is probably more like, I don't know who's making it. Is it Square? Fuck, if it's Square, then I'm sure we're all good.
Actually,
Indie.
it's strangely enough, it's Hello Games. They're the ones that did the what was it, that motorcycle game? The Joe Danger.
When
game.
their office is flooded during
But-
the production of this, right?
We're all familiar though with like what this is, right? Like all your listeners
Yeah.
are. It's like an open space game. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds
Oh,
awesome.
man. Fucking sweet.
Let's see. Act Deft in our chat says Dan sounds like the guy from Jet Set Radio. Do you?
DJ Professor K. Jet Set Radio.
Ow, my ears. Ow, ow, ow. All right, a quick follow-up to something we had talked about last week. This is GameStop announcing their simplified trade-in pricing. It is real. That whole thing did happen. So GameStop has 100 games worth $20 or more, they say. So, I mean, I'm assuming that
Is
means
that
if
the
there are
press
two
release?
conditions.
Oh, sorry, Rob.
Yes, it is. It is the press release
From a guy named Jason Cochran.
Jackie Smith says
Oh.
the contact.
I read one. I threw that guy out of my store. When he was my boss's boss, he came in and was bitching at me. I was just like, if you got nothing better for me, you just need to go. And he just turned around and left. My boss was like, what the fuck did you just do? I'm just like, I ain't got time for this.
That is awesome as hell. You're hardcore.
It was amazing.
You're hardcore. I love it. All right. What's that? Mr. Vrina. Oh, Alan just walked in and said, hi, Mr. Vrina. All right.
I do have Comcast, damn it.
If you sell, anyway, you get a little more money if you're a Powered Up Rewards Pro member and blah, 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 blah. I still say sell them direct on eBay, but if you want to take the easy way out, you can.
Yeah.
All right. What?
I was saying, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get to the mailbag because every week you guys send us emails, mailbag at orangeloungeradio.com, and we read those emails live on air. Now, by the way, so our podcast listeners know, because I threatened this last week, I said if we don't get 4 emails, I'm going to play music from Kim Kardashian Hollywood during the break. Kim Kardashian Hollywood music was played during the break tonight because when I looked before the show, we had 3 emails. 1 came in during the show, and I decided because people like Bobby and Act Deft were like, he won't do it. Don't send email. I decided to torture everybody anyway. So just so you podcasties know, the live listeners got tortured tonight. I'm still thinking of a way to torture the rest of you.
Besides having Dan
I
on
was
the
going to
show.
say, then again, Dan was on the show this week.
Yeah,
guess that's good
I
enough.
self-burned before you could burn me.
All right, fair enough. Burn shield. Burn heal. Dan
Plus one resistance to burning.
You guys have been taking so long that I actually had to refresh all the emails.
I'm trying to kill time until our laptop or until our iPad's battery dies.
Dan uses
I'm
burn heal.
gonna
It's
kill
super
something
effective.
other than
It's
time.
super effective.
All right, Jamie, do it.
Well, I actually have to load the emails now.
So we can fill more time talking about Sega Genesis. Have we talked about blast processing? Blast processing is great.
That iPad
It's a
needs
marketing
blast
tool.
processing.
That iPad needs to be
So,
blasted.
what's up, Orange Lounge? I attached another song for Loki to sample. I actually like Jamie's opinion on the song the most. Sorry,
Speaking
Rob
of which,
and
I still
Loki.
haven't gotten the original email. That first email that he attached never got forwarded to me, so I need that. Or either that or
Alright.
got lost in spam filter hell.
I
Is
will.
this from Ranma?
No, let me finish reading the damn email.
So I apologize. I apologize for not getting back because I have not actually heard the song yet.
Sorry, Robin Loki, she's your show star.
What?
My question is pretty simple. Why isn't Destiny going to be on PC? Do you think it eventually will be? Probably, maybe.
Yes, I think it will be on PC just because it's so easy to port, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One games because they're x86 anyways. So yes, it probably will eventually go on PC, especially if, well, yeah, why not? It
The
would.
funny thing is, Bungie really hadn't done any PC work since they went over to the console side, except for the PC version of what, Halo 2, Halo 1, Halo 1.
Thanks, Smile. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend, and I hope you have an amazing upcoming week. Much love, EA Skeezy from Milwaukee. P.S. Jamie, I would love to someday spend a weekend on your couch. We'll rock some games and eat tacos till our poop turns to salsa. Ew, LOL.
Yeah, you ain't coming to my fucking house.
All right, thank you for forwarding that to
You
me.
can
Just forwarded 2 emails to you.
Sweet, I
you can,
appreciate
You
it.
can come stay on the couch if you bring us some of that fine Wisconsin cheese. Hello, OLR crew. 13X forever here. Third time's a charm, I suppose. I also apologize for a long email. Lord. So, Trails... What? Whatever, Dan. So, Trails in the Sky, a.k.a. Sora no Kisuki, is the first game in the Kiseki sub-series of Legend of Heroes JRPG from Falcom, Dragon Slayer, East, many other games. Kiseki series is one of the biggest and most popular JRPG series in Japan right now. Trails in the Sky first came out in 2004 on PC in Japan. It was so large that the developer split it into 2 games, first chapter and second chapter, respectively. Later, it was ported to PSP and PS3. So what makes this game series to stand apart from other JRPGs? First of all, it is more story-oriented than the vast majority of JRPGs. The story and world building is bread and butter of this series, which resulted in one of the most detailed, alive, and consistent world in any JRPG out there. Scripts for these games are really, really huge. Example script shots. Flat characters, existential plot twists, mute town crowd, not in these games. You get your in-depth character. Stop it, Dan.
I'm talking to Rob. Stay focused on your story, which is like an hour long.
This is actually the guy that tried to call in last week and the internet sucked. And
Yes.
Yeah, we
so
said email.
that's why I'm happily
Here it is.
reading this. You get your in-game character development from your main party members, and then for half the NPCs in the world, albeit a lot less detailed. That's right, you can see how things are going for a lot of town people after each main story advancement. What's more, stories in each individual game are intertwined not only with previous titles, but with future ones as well. You'd be surprised at how many instances of foreshadowing were there in the beginning, even for the latest games. First game is relatively slow-paced and light on the battle system and mini-games. There's a lot of introductory stuff for everything, but it picks up speed fast right before the second chapter, and other aspects are greatly improved in later games on the series. Oh, and did I mention background music? It was great from the get-go, and it only got better ever since. Now, why is all the hype? Sadly, only Trails in the Sky FC for PSP came out in the West. That's it until just recently when Xseed finally released a greatly improved original PC version on Steam with lots of enhancements and ported features from handheld and console releases. What is more important, they're localizing second chapter and plan to release it at the end of the year, maybe early 2015 on PC first, and then the PSP version as well. And if FC and SC of Trials in the Sky will sell well, they're going to get the third chapter, which is a new game that bridges Trails in the Sky with the next installment, Zero / Ao no Kiseki, and gasp, probably maybe somehow the rest of the series. In other words, every sold copy of Trails in the Sky first chapter, and more importantly second chapter, will have measurable impact on the probability to see the whole series being localized in the West for the first time ever. In conclusion, these are really great These are really great games for a really low price of $19.99 on PC or PSP. If you're interested in JRPGs at all, you should try this game. Your friendly neighborhood bracer, 13X Forever. P.S. Sorry for the messed up email.
You can't go wrong with anything by Falcom. I just downloaded Ys Origin. It's awesome.
I'm glad we got to give the game a proper shout out because he was denied that shout out last week. So hooray!
Yeah. Hey, OLR. I've heard emails were in high demand, so I decided to finally write in about something I've been thinking about since the whole Ubisoft no femme assassin debacle. There are all kinds of ways that games implement the player in deciding what goes on with the main character, ranging from almost none, Dead Space, Resident Evil, Strider, etc., to complete control over nearly everything, including how the player looks and often story-related choices, Elder Scrolls, Mass Effect, Dark Souls, Saints Row, etc. My main question would be, which of the types do you generally enjoy more? For those of you who answer complete control, do you think it takes away from the narrative of the game in some way, since the events have to be planned out in such a way as to allow so many different types of characters? Or do you think it's sort of irrelevant and that we should always be able to create a character? Then for the second part of this question, in games that have you create your own characters from scratch, do any of you have a character already in mind when you begin playing that you will use across different game series? Personally, I have a short roster of characters I'll create that I've been using since I was about 18, with some new characters occasionally branching out. Pause. I really don't care as long as the story's good, although I really do love putting a lot of time into character creation.
There really are pros and cons to both formats. I think it's so hard to pick one or the other because, if I were to say that I only like it when I can create my own character and do my own things, I'd be saying, like, I don't like Mario or things like that as much. And, there's great value in games like that. But, of course, I love the ones where you can make your own character, too. Especially in a genre like role-playing. I think it works very well there. I mean, I wouldn't expect necessarily in an action game I can do that. Although I would think that in a multiplayer action, which is why the Ubisoft thing got a lot of crap, you would have a variety of characters to choose from. But I digress. I don't mind the lack of openness in certain genres of games. But at the end of the day, is the game good? Yes or no? That's the most important thing. I do like to make characters, though. I'm going to be honest. I make characters usually that look like me. That's the characters I usually make. Not always. Or I'll do a girl that looks nothing like me.
Well, I would like to tell the letter writer, because there was a note added, you should read the first part silently before aloud, please. I don't want to impose on you or the show. You should have put that up at the beginning of the email, because I don't read the emails before I read the emails.
I think he meant the rest of the email, though. There's something else that he put after that.
It said the first part.
I think he means the second part, if you actually look at it. It says...
Oh.
It's fine. You can read it.
I have no idea.
I looked at it before the show, and it's fine. He was worried about making a cheap plug on air.
It's fine. I recently started a YouTube channel partly inspired by OLR and sometimes my favorite YouTubers, so I'd like to invite anybody that's interested in the video game related content to come check it out, since I'm trying to figure out what people want to see, and the chat seems to always be reasonable, fun people to interact with. It's Brozyme on YouTube. Also, I hope to be in chat tonight, but no promises, as I usually work quite late Sundays. Love the show, Brozyme.
There you
There's
go.
no such thing as reasonable and fun people on YouTube. They're all a bunch of trolling, hacky assholes. I comment on YouTube a lot.
I'm happy to promote your YouTube channel, especially when you kiss up a little bit and be like, it's inspired by OLR.
We don't mind
I love
plugging people. I'm fine with that.
All right.
It's not an imposition.
No, in all seriousness, best of luck with your YouTube channel. I support indie broadcasting in all forms.
What about walking around your neighborhood with a megaphone? I'm broadcasting right now live from Rob's house, where all of his neighbors can hear me.
I don't want the police called.
That is probably the stupidest thing you've ever said.
You know what? I can think of another stupid thing that I said that consisted of 2 words when we got married.
And by the way,
No way.
Brozyme's in chat saying, I meant the second. Sorry. So he's being
by the way, I
apologetic.
love this guy.
We know what you meant. Jamie doesn't know what you meant.
I know that you can sit and spin.
She's walking home from the show tonight.
No, I'm not.
Do we have another email?
Yes.
Last email.
This is from Robert M. I wonder what effect the changes in Twitch's terms of service will have to Salty Bet, even though when Mugen channel is almost entirely focused on live feed rather than archived content. The prospect of betting on games that have already taken place seems even more silly / dangerous than buying a DVD of World Poker Tour.
People bet on games on Twitch?
I think
That's
it's
fucking brilliant.
It's fake money.
It's
Monopoly money.
It's fun because it's
No,
it's,
but that's amazing. I mean,
it is.
fake
It's
money,
great.
real
You
money.
seriously-
That's inspired.
You seriously need to watch it because it's all those independently made Mugen characters
Yeah.
fighting each other. So like they have ridiculous shit all the time, and you sign up and you get like X amount of salty bucks or whatever, and then you bet on it. But it's difficult to win a lot of times.
Now, is it
because-
real players or is it
No,
like
it's a
computer
versus computer.
Holy shit! I've got to check this
It's
out.
gonna
Remember when we did that for WrestleMania 2000?
yeah.
Oh yeah, we ran the entire card, and in a lot of ways it was accurate. And they do that every year, like they do the Madden bullshit like that, And I was like, Twitch is, earlier on, I'm like, Twitch is awesome. Twitch legitimizes our hobby. Twitch gives everyone a chance to kind of show off and gives everyone a chance to see people showing off. I think that's amazing until we fuck it up, and fucking it up would be real gambling. However, if somebody's managed to turn it into a game, that's like the best thing ever.
They turned a game into another game.
I am totally checking this shit out. Yeah. They took parts from games that they turned into a game into another game about betting on games.
As far as the email goes,
Rad.
though, I think you hit the nail on the head. It doesn't matter because like 98% of it is live based. You're not going to bet on matches that have already taken place. So I think it's okay.
Are they going to not let you broadcast live? Is that kind of the trick?
No, you can broadcast live. It's the highlights you can only save in 2-hour chunks, although I believe they ended up getting rid of those. But they're not going to keep your videos on file for all time unless you specifically make a highlight.
Which is fair.
Yeah,
Because,
which is
God,
totally
that'd
fair.
be vast amounts of storage needed.
Yeah.
Dungeon Buster says in chat, I bet on Akuma and he was wrecked by a schoolgirl with a magic cat, I think.
Yeah, it's very difficult to pick. There's all the rules in there. It's like always bet on Dragon Ball Z and never bet on Dragon Ball Z. And it's
Never bet on Akuma because he takes damage twice as fast as every other character, and never bet against a schoolgirl with a magic cat because she will fuck your shit up.
All right. That's it for emails tonight, yes?
Fifth Dream says, always bet waifu.
Always
That's
bet
it.
on black.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com if you want to send us an email in a future week. I would appreciate it. Let's go. Jamie probably won't because then she has to read it. But why? Who says we were here to make Jamie's life easy? I mean, Dan's here in studio tonight, people. All right. Love you, Jamie. XOXO.
Love you, mean it.
Dan,
right.
you better get me a burrito after the show.
Let's go to the FUs of the week. FU's of the week time, Dark Sakura.
F you to the intensely negative world around us and the fact that I came very close to just wanting to sit back and watch it all burn. Until I remember that there are truly good people in the world. And me. Yes. Except Loki. Sorry, Loki. You're kind of okay.
That's not good.
That's fine. I'll stick
F
with
you
it.
to Rob for making fun of his, or for trying to, rub in my face that he has a signed poster that I don't even want. But I'm going to steal now just to prove that I can.
Fine.
Also, F you to the ghost bitch in PT that ate me.
And made her scream and pee.
I did pee.
Yeah, we checked the trousers later. And it was damp.
Doesn't one of the doesn't
Only for
the
you, baby.
ghost thing or whatever pee on you or
Nice.
something? Because I remember watching
It sounds like it.
It sure sounds
Everybody
like
say,
it.
they're eating flesh, they're rending. That I'm like, it sounds like you're
does
getting
sound like she's
drained
taking
upon.
a
You're
piss.
getting golden
Yeah,
showered.
watch out, because if you talk about this game 3 times, then Shane will instantly be summoned. Like, he'll just appear.
And
PT,
then the
PT,
ghost
PT.
pissed
Small,
from
speak
her
small, speak
ocular cavity.
All right.
Okay, am I the only person who's also married an ex-murderer?
The only one who liked it.
Bullshit.
Like 3 other people did. Anyways, moving right along.
Bullshit.
F you to Jamie for liking the old Mike Myers movie, So I Married an Axe Murderer.
F you because you're being a dick.
F me because I'm being a dick.
All right, is that it for your FUs, Dan?
Probably.
All right,
And
Loki.
Bochikawa, F you for spelling Genesis wrong.
Loki.
I guess just
Fuck that guy.
F you to being hot. It's like hot in here. I don't know.
Sorry, I have the fan on.
Are you premenopausal?
No, it's just this is a wooden chair and it doesn't breathe.
He's got himself some swamp.
Do what I do. I stand up during the show.
I should start doing that. Yeah.
All right. My FU of the week goes to the Sega Genesis because I didn't have one.
You know what? Sega Genesis F's you back.
Also, my FUs of the week goes to Mood Swings. Yay. All right. That's it. Just a couple more stories, and then we're going to take your calls here real soon at 1-877-GAME-OLR or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. You can call in and talk to Dark Sakura, Loki, myself, or Dan, I guess. All right, Loki.
So you may remember such games as actually it is one game, but Remember Me was kind of a game that came out last year, and it was okay. It was this sort of memory hacking. I don't know what you would call it, like futuristic brawler. I don't know, it was kind of strange. But anyways, that company, Dot Nod, they're back with a brand new game called Life is Strange. And it's kind of like, they're kind of comparing it to like a butterfly effect. You know, every action acts a butterfly effect. But with the power to rewind time, what would you change and what would it turn out to be a change for the better or for worse? So, I don't know. It sounds interesting. It's scheduled to be out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, as well as PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. And, they only have like a little bit of a teaser for it, but it looks pretty. I just don't know. Speaking of which, I wanted to mention, though, totally aside from this, you know, Quantum Break wasn't really on my radar. It kind of looks stupid based off the, first trailer that they showed. But, man, that gameplay footage that they had during the Microsoft press conference was fucking awesome. That game looks sweet. So, looking forward to that. That's it.
All right. Lastly tonight, before we get to phone calls, obviously there's been a lot of talk this week when the world lost Robin Williams, the fantastic improv comic that a lot of you, of course, I know absolutely adored, as did we. And he was also a gamer, as I'm sure a lot of you guys knew. He had an active World of Warcraft account. He appeared in Nintendo commercials with his daughter Zelda, which was named after The Legend of Zelda. So, in gaming news, how this is relevant to the gaming world, besides the fact that, Robin was one of us, is the fact that gamers are sort of rallying for memorializations of Robin Williams in various games. There was a couple different change.org petitions out there, one of them for Blizzard to memorialize Robin Williams in the game somehow. And it sounds like Blizzard was pretty receptive to that. Pretty quickly they said, we've got something in the works, you'll see it soon. And I would think that Mork the Orc would make a perfect addition to World, but who knows? Anyhow, Nintendo also responded to a similar change.org petition requesting that Robin Williams be remembered in a future Zelda title. That one might be a little bit harder to pull off, but fans, are asking for it. Nintendo did put out a response which says, Robin Williams was loved at Nintendo. Our hearts go out to his entire family and especially to Zelda Williams, who we've worked with multiple times. We appreciate the outpouring of support from the gaming community and hear the request of fans to honor him in a future game. We will not be discussing what might be possible for future games during this difficult time, but we will hold our memories of Robin close. So, I actually kind of really like that response because it's showing that, we're not going to make any decision really rash in the moment, but obviously we were big fans of him as well, and we'll do, it's kind of like we'll assess this at a later time when we're ready to talk more about what's going on with The Legend of Zelda. So that, in that retrospect, it's pretty cool. So, anyhow, let's move on. It's time to go to the Skype line over at 1-877-GAME-OLR, our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, if you'd like to give the show a call and talk about anything that we've mentioned tonight, or perhaps something else you'd like to bring up. I'm going to head over to the Twitter real quick, but while I'm loading up our Twitter at twitter.com/OLR, let me check in with Loki to see if there's any last-minute stories. And again, the Skype line is open.
They have a new Minecraft set coming out, and these new Minecraft sets aren't the micro Minecraft stuff. Lego Minecraft, I should say. And they've got one. It's was it the farm and the cave, and they look awesome because now they're minifig size or minifig scale, I guess.
Let me go to this Twitter topic because somebody sent one in just for Dan. This comes from SSJ100 Matt saying, Genesis and Mega Drive news just for Dan. Unreleased Bill the Tomato port released on reproduction cartridges. And he actually sends us to a story over at retrocollect.com about this. What is it? Bill the Tomato is the game? Yeah, Bill the Tomato. Wow, they actually are putting it in a little Genesis box and everything. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they do stuff like that. Cool. You know, especially over Retro Collect, they're huge into the Sega stuff. And the Genesis lives on.
$75 in North America if you want this. 100 copies of this game being made available using all new parts.
They've done some really incredible stuff. I mean, that's like an unreleased prototype, but they've done some homebrew, some brand new stuff, especially for the machine that you would be shocked to see coming out on Genesis.
I seem to remember, and I know Bobby's probably listening, and he'll correct me on this, but I seem to remember he had a pretty big interview with somebody who was making a Genesis game. He had those people on. And I don't remember the name of the game. He'll jump in there with it.
Yeah, there's this RPG that was huge deal, and I always forget the name of it. But
and he had the developers on the show.
It just looks cool as hell.
Yeah,
and I really do wish that had I known about it sooner.
The Baker Prince, was that what it was called?
I don't know.
I feel like
had I been on it sooner, I probably would have ponied up for a copy.
There was a Kickstarter for one. There's one that was more recent that was a Kickstarter they were using Unity, but I don't know how they would port that to Genesis. But it had. It was sprites with normal maps on them, so they had real-time lighting on the sprites, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, just stuff that you wouldn't expect an X60 or a 68,000 and a Z80 to be able to do, But advanced programming techniques, they can take old consoles and make them do things that you're just like, holy shit, why couldn't they have done that back in the day? Well, they didn't know how. One of the guys that we see at Atari Party every year has this mind-blowing version of Space Harrier that plays on the Atari 800. It must use a huge amount of memory comparative to what they had available at the time, but it looks like the arcade game. Not wow, it's the arcade game, but I mean, it looks more like the arcade game than a Master System version, like a Sega Genesis version, anything like that did.
And Bobby must have been AFK because he didn't jump in, but Dark Tetsuya jumped in and said Beggar Prince, and sure enough, I went to look up the wiki on it, and it was Beggar Prince. The thing about Beggar Prince, it actually did come out in '96. I think it was in Chinese originally, so the retranslation of the game happened much later. 2006 was, I believe, the tangible release, and then they did Windows and all that in 2013. So there you go.
I thought it was more recent, but yeah, that sounds very plausible. Yeah, it's supposed to be just this amazing game. And at 96, I guess it would have been a pretty late life.
It would have been, yeah.
Mega Drive title.
Again, I'm going to throw that out. 1-877-GAME-OLR, our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, if you'd like to give the show a call. Do we have any other last-minute stories from Loki?
No.
I don't think I saw anything else on Twitter.
No, we do not.
Well, Dan, if nobody's going to call in, you have plenty of time to reminisce more about the Genesis.
My wife showed me a picture of a cat driving a car on a Logitech wheel.
Oh, wait.
It's a racing wheel.
I do have some more tweets.
It is awesome.
This is really important. Vizaya925 sent us 2 tweets. The first one says, I'd love a complete remaster of the original Resident Evil. That game was awesome. That was one of our stories last week, if you remember.
And you can have one. It's on the GameCube.
And Vizaya also responded and said, Jim Boy Tacos have the best fish tacos ever. Tell Jamie she's tripping. Which
no, they have the best vomit tacos.
I want to point out.
See, that's what summoned shame.
No, this is important.
It's the badness of Jim Boy.
This is important. That tweet retweeted by the official Jim Boy's Tacos account. So Jim Boy's Tacos has indirectly told Jamie she's tripping.
It is, yeah. Jim Boy's Tacos is this weird acquired taste, I guess.
It's a local chain. I feel bad
It's a
because
local
it's
chain.
an international
It's
show,
called
and
gross.
people are like, "What the hell is this
And-
taco
Called
place that you keep
yuck.
talking about?"
Okay, dear Jim Boy's Tacos, if you get me free tacos for a year, I might say that one of them is good.
Why would you want free tacos that you hate?
give them to me.
The first night that Jamie moved
I'd
out
give them
here,
to you guys.
I went and picked up Jim Boy's Tacos, and it just destroyed her. I mean, she was just not a happy girl. And it's very unfortunate
And then we went
because
to the one by your grandmother's house, and I was sick in her bathroom
that
for 2
was
hours.
the one I went to, I
Yeah.
think.
You know, there's people that live in like New York or something listening to this show going, "I don't give a fuck about Jim Boy's Tacos."
You know what? We don't give a fuck about you not giving a fuck. You want to see how many fucks I have to give? My fucks given ratio is extremely low even compared to yours. So eat a dick. Taco.
1-877 game OLR. Our username on Skype, Orange Laundry.
I know nobody really felt like that. It was just Rob talking.
For what it's worth, Vizia 925, I had Jim Boy tacos on Friday and they were fine. So just saying, I like them.
Covered with like that weird powdery cheese. That's amazing.
It's called Parmesan. All right, we go.
Not
It's not
Parmesan.
Parmesan.
Finally, our phones are lighting up. Let's get to it. Hi, you're on Orange Launch Radio. Who's this?
Holy crap, I'm on the show.
Holy crap! Who's
This
this?
is EA Skeezy.
EA Skeezy. What's up, buddy?
Nothing. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. From emailing to live on air. What's on your mind tonight, buddy?
Well, honestly, the girlfriend had to work third shift tonight, and I randomly thought, well, hey, OLR's on. I don't have to wait till Monday. Let's call in and see how the gang's doing.
God, I'm lonely.
Are you lonely, EA Skeezy? Is that what's
I'll,
up?
I'll smack
Are
my
you
husband for you.
lonely
you.
tonight? Do
EA
you miss me
Honestly,
tonight?
I'm just bored.
All right. Well, EA Skeezy, I'm glad you called to get entertained by us. You don't have any statements or opinions you wish to inflict upon the show tonight?
Well, for one, I absolutely hate Time Warner Cable.
Yeah, dude, they can suck a dick.
Since we were talking about cable companies, why not spread the hate? What did Time Warner do to piss you off?
They sent I was a little late on the bill, owed them about $100, and that's about it. And they sent the guy to the door to come get the modem and take everything away. And I told him, well, I'll just hold on to the modem because I'll make the payment. It'll turn back on. Everything will be fine. The guy said, yeah, that's exactly how it works. So he left, but he failed to mention that he disconnected me downstairs in the basement. And now I have to go through the process of having a guy come here and put in a new modem and all that crap. And that's weeks, and I got to pay service fees and crap like that. So,
That's what happens when you don't pay your bills.
Well, that sounds like a worse interest system than GameStop's credit card, to be honest. I don't know.
GameStop has a credit card?
You didn't hear about that?
Holy fucking crap.
Yeah,
That's like the worst idea ever.
You know what? You need to listen to Orange Lounge Radio. We talk about all this shit that you're missing.
That's amazing. You think my wife would come home and tell me these things. No.
Anyway, all right. Well, EA Skeezy, since to amuse Dan tonight, since he's taunting you for not having paid your bill on time.
What is your favorite Genesis game?
Yeah, what is your favorite Genesis game?
My favorite Genesis game, honestly, I did not
5
have
seconds.
one as
Okay,
same
hang
as
on.
Rob. I didn't have one. Super Nintendo, man.
He was.
Okay, what's your favorite Super Nintendo game?
Super Metroid, for sure.
Oh, dude, fuck yes.
All right,
Fuck
correct
yes.
answer. Correct
answer.
I honestly played it 2 weeks ago.
You are damn right. See, at the very least, I can get behind you. If you didn't have a Genesis, but you were rocking Super Metroid, you made the right choice.
Which every time I try to get you to play
Oh,
Super
no.
Metroid, you won't.
Because my thumbs are
my God.
terrible now, and the Super Nintendo controller actually hurts my thumbs.
Easy,
If I could use
will you come over,
if I could use
crash
my
on?
Genesis 6-button
Hush.
pad on
Will
the
you
Super
come
Nintendo.
crash on our couch and play
Fuck
Super
no!
Metroid
None of
for
these
us?
people are ever touching my sofa. Especially this guy. He can't pay his bills. He didn't own a Genesis.
I'm gonna punch my husband.
His
in the
only
face
his
for you
only
later.
redeeming quality is that he listens to OLR and he likes Super Metroid.
You don't even listen to OLR.
I know.
This man has no
That's
redeeming
basically
qualities.
Rob's redeeming qualities too.
All right.
If I'm ever in the area, I can cook and clean, and I can maybe stay a night just to hang out.
Throw in
We'll
changing
see.
the cat's litter and you're in.
Dear God, no.
All right.
That's not even a good deal
sure.
for you.
My girlfriend makes me do that all the time. I hate fucking do the cat's litter, but I'm fucking pro at it now.
All right. EA Skeezy.
Heart.
Any last thoughts for our listeners tonight before we let you go?
No, I just hope everybody enjoyed the show. I look forward to hearing the majority that I missed in the morning.
All right. Sounds good. We'll try
Keep
to get it
writing
up for
us
you.
every week because I like your emails.
All right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Bye, my friend.
I'll send you a new one next week. Yep, good to hear you guys.
Later. All right, that was EA Skeezy, who I believe is the first time actually on the show, even though we get the emails a lot. Let's now the phones are lighting up. Let's go back to it again. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hey guys, it's Jason.
Hey, Jason. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good to hear from you.
Every show that's a reminiscing show is a good show because after reading, it's funny because like I jumped in on Facebook just to correct the fact that Alan said 13 and not 8 because he said X and not V.
Oh, did he? I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, maybe he edited it since.
Did it
since
make
I
you feel
chimed
better
in,
about
but
yourself?
I am one of those assholes on the internet, unfortunately. So yes.
Good
That's
man.
right. So is Jamie.
And I meant to read
Know
the
yourself.
comments to see if anybody else said the whole Crackdown Halo thing. I'm totally not surprised that they did. But one of the other things that sprang to mind, we're talking about PlayStation Magazine demos and whatnot, was the disc, the issue, whatever date, whatever issue that had Jet Moto 2 on it. Everybody else, if I remember correctly, I seem to remember 3 games on that disc. I love Jet Moto 2. The level, the music for the stage that they picked, I'm fairly sure it was just a one-level demo, was amazing. But if I remember correctly, that same disc also had Xenogears and either Tomba 1 or Tomba 2.
Oh, Tomba's such a good game.
And I've
It's one
never
of those
played
games
either
that,
of
yeah,
them.
I mean, people know about it, but like the mainstream audience doesn't know about it.
Yes, that game definitely has cult status.
Man, I miss Jet Moto. That series is awesome.
Well, no, Jet Moto 1 and 2 were awesome. And then what was it? The third one
Oh,
was
there
the
was a third
989 one, right? Because the first
Yeah.
two were by single track, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
I never
the
played
third
the
one
third
went
one.
to 989 Studios, and 989 Studios had a way of taking everything good that they touched and just making absolute shit out of it.
Was that
Oh,
also
good.
the case with Cool Borders? That like the
That
first
was the
3
case
was
with
somebody
every,
in the 999
like
afterwards?
every Sony franchise when they got rid of that original, like when the PlayStation came out, Sony had a literal dream team of developers. It just wasn't pushed as much, but they had guys who were just really good at making games, and then they ended up taking those guys, and after they built these franchises and said, all right, now fucking pay us, Sony said, oh, thank you for your work. We're going to give your franchise over to 989 Studios, who made games for, peanuts and toffee, and just fucking ruined them.
And the game
Twisted
and
Metal,
the fact that they were made at that scale shows.
Jet Moto, blah. All their sports franchises, blah. Jesus Christ.
It's a little unfortunate because I actually bought Jet Moto 2 for original PSP. I don't know if it's going to be better on the Vita. Probably not, because like the game just doesn't feel right, and I don't know if that's just because I'm missing the second triggers because the PSPs don't have 2 sets of triggers on each side.
You got to have that PlayStation controller.
Yeah, you really do. I actually don't even have a console PlayStation anymore, but I'm looking forward to. I want to
while they're
say that
cheap,
the store
man.
said that you could play it on a console
PlayStation
as well,
stuff
but
is
I'm
still
sure.
cheap, and it's still out there. And just get it now because they're mechanical. They're only going to get harder to find, and they're going to get more expensive. And just, eventually titles like, Warhawk and Jet Moto and ESPN Extreme Games, all those weird early PlayStation games that were so good from that early generation will be gone because they're not going to age like cartridges do where there's no moving parts. There's really nothing to break. Sony, eventually it's going to be damn hard to find a PlayStation.
Yep.
All right. Wow. All right. It's sort of, you guys talking about like the PS1 demos and everything, it really does make me think about how all of that is really like a lost art because, now obviously we do all the download demos, but even, it seems like download demos even are less and less depending on the console. Like I think about like Wii U, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of downloadable demos on something like Wii U.
Want me to tell you why?
Why?
Because they figured it was a waste of time. The problem is that they figured out eventually after all these years of doing demos that having a demo out didn't really affect the sales of your title positively and could in fact greatly affect it negatively. And since demos are typically early versions of games that lack polish and whatnot, unless you spent a lot of extra time and development money making a good demo, you probably were going to ruin your game. Plus, tons of people would just play that demo and go, it was cool. So companies pretty much decided unless it's something AAA and they need to create hype to buy themselves another 6 months of development time without losing momentum, they're not going to give you that free taste. They're just going to let it sit back.
At the same time, you know what's kind of weird about that? That was probably always the case for consoles. I know it was always the case for consoles. But, like, I started playing through Serious Sam, and I was reminded of how that and Shadow Warrior and...
Shadow Warrior.
I know at least one or two other games that the demo was the same engine, but had otherwise shorter, unique content. And when you actually bought the full game, it said, "Hey, here's the extra content from the demo, in addition to what you can play with the full game," which is. Yeah. And my idea, a really cool way of doing it, especially since demos are more or less always digital, BBSs and whatnot. They can make the game, master it, ship it, get it into stores during that time, whip up new content, be able to put that on digital mechanisms. And there's really no reason why they couldn't be doing that right now.
Well, and PC demos are kind of a different world.
Sure, absolutely.
Because usually it's just like they're going to take a little bit of the code, they're going to polish it up a tiny bit, and they're going to make it available for download. With console demos, because they needed to be mastered onto a disc, they needed more lead time. So I mean that's a super valid point.
And it's also not applicable to everything. It's super applicable to those, frenzied action games, which you get an RPG or an adventure game or a puzzle. I guess like there's room for new puzzles to be made in a puzzle game, but like...
with a puzzle game, you want to do the demo.
Peggle and other little trash games like that. Trash is the wrong word, but, simple little games, there's not going to be interesting, unique content you're going to be able to do with those sorts of things.
All right. Well, Jason, I appreciate the walk down memory lane of demos here. Any other quick thoughts before we let you go? Because the phones are lighting up, so I want to try and get one more call in.
I'm not witty enough this fast enough. Take another call.
All right. Take care, buddy. Bye.
That guy's my favorite caller.
He's a good guy. All right. Our phones are lighting up, so let's try to take at least one more call here before we wrap up the show tonight. Let's get to it. Hi, you're on Orange Lounge Radio. Who's this?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, and we can see you.
Hey, hello. Hi, it's Brozyme.
Brozyme. Hey, is this your first time calling the show?
Yes,
that
it
is two first
completely
time
the first time.
That is
it's actually, I think it's my first time here being live at all.
Oh my gosh!
I bring in the new crowd. The people are coming to see Dan.
Were you here just to see Dan?
Just say yes.
Yes.
I think the first time I heard Dan, since I've only been listening since like episode 500, was just a voice in the background yelling at you.
Yeah, that is because I was asking.
That's about accurate.
I believe the quote
What's up,
was
bitches?
"Sup, bitches."
Yeah, because
Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
Dan had brought over a bed when Jamie and Dan moved. They had an extra bed, so they brought it over to this house because we have all this space now. So yeah, that was the episode they brought it over.
Yeah,
but anyway,
when we brought Shane something to sleep on.
Yeah, you guys definitely don't
Nice.
want to hear about the beds in my house. I want to hear about what you want to say tonight. What's up?
Not much. Got off work early and was able to make it home to be in chat whenever you guys were reading emails and stuff. So I missed the first part of the show, but I'm glad I got to hear like the majority, I guess.
Yeah, we've been having live stream drops anyway. Wait, so you're like EA Skeezy. You don't have any comments?
What's your
on
favorite
what's going on?
Genesis game? At least tell us your favorite Genesis game if you don't got nothing better to say.
I think it was Sonic 2.
Okay, good. That's valid.
Okay.
Sonic 2 is a great game.
I think Sonic 2 is the only Sega Genesis game I played though at a friend's house.
It is the best-selling game, I believe, for the Sega Genesis. It is the best-selling game of the Sonic
one of the
the
few
Hedgehog
games he had.
franchise. And it's also probably one of the most speculated about games in terms of beta versions in the history of games.
And it's also one of the most cursed at versions because of the chemical plant.
Chemical Plant Zone. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And that's like stage 2.
So you mentioned you had to go to a friend's to play it. Were you a Super Nintendo guy, or let me guess, you're probably
Oh,
young.
yeah.
Oh, okay, I was gonna think you're probably young enough where you had a PlayStation or something.
Well, the weird thing is that I had a Super Nintendo while the N64 was out.
Okay.
So I was just late to the party basically because my parents had the not N64, Super Nintendo. So I was playing that for ages before I got an N64.
So what was your favorite Super Nintendo game?
Favorite Super Nintendo game was definitely just the original Legend of Zelda. That was my favorite game.
Well, the original Legend of Zelda was NES, but if you're talking about Link to the Past,
the Link to the Past. Sorry,
that is, to be fair, that's the second best answer you could give next to Super Metroid.
That's another game I cussed out a whole bunch.
I did play a lot of Super Metroid, but when I was little, I had no hope of completing Super Metroid.
That's fair. And to the chatters, yes, I am saying those are better answers than Chrono Trigger. Sorry about it. Sorry,
Damn right.
Sorry, not sorry.
I didn't play Chrono Trigger until like after I was already done with my N64.
I like this guy.
That was a game I had no idea. I had no idea about Chrono Trigger until like I was so much older than whenever I had been playing like my Super Nintendo originally. It was silly.
All right. Bobby's in chat saying, I'm going to take down Rob's internet for reals. Great. I'm going to get DOS attacked during the show as if
Chrono Trigger is such a good game.
I'm not dissing Chrono Trigger. I like to poke fun at you crazed, foaming at the mouth fanboys.
I never have purchased Chrono Trigger. What? Because my friend left it at my house, and then he moved to another town, and then I moved out here with it.
So
then I married her, so it became community property, and now it's just as much mine as whoever she stole it from. So if you ever come after it, I will kill you.
I have never played Chrono Trigger.
However,
Really?
No prenup, so we have 50% ownership of everything. So that means I also have half the copy of Dracula X and all of those boxed SNES games.
And
she moved away, half of Dracula X.
She has that game with the frickin' dish.
Yes, I do. The Card Captor Sakura game. I love that game. I'm going to play it.
Dish. All right.
Isn't there a Card Captor Sakura anime?
Quick, hang up.
All right, now, Brozime, quick. Any last thoughts before we let you go?
Thanks for reading my email and talking about my channel, I guess. I just started doing it like a while ago, so anyone that wants to go check that out can go check that out, and it's fun, I guess. I don't know. I've been playing Nosgoth recently.
Quick, hold up a sign with your address on it.
It's not a video show. We see the video. They don't. So
yeah, Dan, get with the program.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
Dan, only one plug a show.
We used to have a video.
Yeah, back in the day we did.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was all right.
Remember we played Street Fighter on it?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I don't know. Someday we'll bring it back. All right. Brozime, are you still there, Brozime? His video froze up. There's a problem with this call. Or did our entire internet just crap out again? Is that the problem? It's
Bobby, gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fucking Bobby. All right. I think he came back, but we were wrapping it up.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened either. I'll blame the internet. All right. But Brozime, we are going to let you go so we can wrap up the show. But have a good night.
All right. Sounds good. You guys too.
All right. Later. If it's not the freaking feed sending to the Shoutcast server, then it's Skype, and if it's not that, then it's this. All right, sorry to those that didn't get through, because like nobody called for 5 minutes, and all of a sudden it was lighting up on fire. So there's a few people that didn't get through. Please consider sending us an email. Participate at orangeloungeradio.com. Give Dark Sakura some work to do. Anyhow, that is about it. We're going to wrap up the show. We're done with last minute stories. We got the Twitter stuff. Actually, wait, no, we didn't finish the Twitter stuff because I had one other tweet I wanted to read here from our old pal Piker Uno had sent something too. Yes, and it was about the whole TV tax, because last week we talked about TV tax overseas, and Piker Uno does live in what I call London land. And Piker Uno says, it's not the TV tax, it's the license fee. And no, you'll still have to pay the license fee to watch any live TV. The important difference is that this is how the BBC is funded, directly by the public, not through the government. So a minor correction there too. Probably some other Downton Abbey tangent we went on last week. All right. Anyway, that is it. We're going to wrap up here at Orange Lounge Radio. Hey, thanks you guys for listening to the show. Really appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you heard here at Orange Lounge Radio and you stuck with us the whole show, why not tell a friend or 2 or 17 about our program and help spread the word, because you're all we got is word of mouth. We don't have a major magazine backing us. We don't have demo discs of OLR out there. Actually, 1E3, we did have OLR demo discs, now that I think about it.
I still have some.
I was going to say, those will be collector's items someday, Loki, when we're big and famous. All right. Anyway, that's about going to do it. But I want to say, Dan, thank you for being here. Always fun, even if you're kind of a dick sometimes. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, you got me.
But I'm glad you could be here for the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive look back episode. It seems oddly appropriate. Any last thoughts for our listeners tonight, Dan?
No.
And also, actually, this is also very important. Do you have anything you want to plug? You have like a Twitter or a podcast of your own? Everybody has podcasts these days.
You guys should listen to Orange Lounge Radio. My wife is on it and her friends. And it's pretty amazing. They do it all the time. And I mean, it's a little pedantic sometimes. But in general, it's worth listening to.
In general. All right. Thank you, Dan. Come back anytime. Anyhow, but not Labor Day weekend because we won't be here.
Neither will I.
All right. Let's see. Dark Side.
You know what? That's our anniversary weekend.
Oh, there you go.
The spouse and I will have been married for 9 years.
You going to Disneyland or something?
No.
All right.
You paying? You paying?
That's
Rob's
funny.
paying for himself to go to Dragon Con.
Yeah, I'm going to Atlanta. to get some of the Sue's infamous gummy bears. That's the only reason I go. All right, Dark Sakura to follow Dan here with your final thought tonight.
Even though I was super full when we got here, I'm super hungry now and really want a fish burrito. From a good Mexican place like El Forastero.
My final thought is, now you mentioned that place, now I'm craving tortilla chips. Damn you. All right. And last but not least, Loki, your final thought tonight.
My final thought tonight is I should play more games.
You should.
Word.
Because I haven't been playing any games.
How about everybody? It's the OLR challenge. Everybody play one new game this week. Play something new.
Yeah,
Bonus
fucking
point.
Bejeweled.
Bonus
Jesus
points.
Christ.
Bonus points if it's indie. All right. That does it for another week here at Orange Lounge Radio. We will be back next week before our little break for Labor Day. So 565 next week. We are inching closer and closer to episode 573. You know, I got to be honest. I never thought we'd get that high. But that is something that's going to be happening in October, believe it or not. All right. That does it. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next time here at Orange Lounge Radio. Good night.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for a live show, tune into VogNetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio or Vog Network, but you know they were all still true. See you next week.